Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So shouts out to everybody that comes into the room. As you guys come in, please make sure that you smash the like button. Also, wherever you're watching from, please make sure that you share the video out. All right. And if you're not subscribed to the backup channels, please make sure that you take a moment and subscribe to the backup channels. All right. So, what we're going to be doing today is doing a review of some of the things that went on with Kanye West. And we're going to be doing a review of some of the new things that are going on with Kanye, because I'm not sure if people are aware of this, but there are some new developments that have happened. All right. I don't know if you guys saw, just talking with TD and Robb, we talked about the Drink Champs thing. We talked about the Noriega apology, and we talked about the purchase or the potential purchase of Parler. There have been some new recent events. All right. I want to go over them with you guys and see what you guys think. I want to try to get a bunch of people to check this video out. So help your boy out with the engagement by smashing that like button and saying what's up. And let's get into it. But the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to check out a clip from an older interview, from two older interviews that happened right around the start of all of the craziness. All right. Shout out to Katsy and shout out to Carlton Way. So now here's what I want to ask everybody. All right. Kanye West, in this interview clip, this is from the Tucker Carlson interview, said that he parted ways with his relationship with Barack Obama. All right. Now, my question is, has anybody who is in here watching, have you all parted ways with your relationship with Barack Obama? And if you did, why? And my question is, do your reasons match the reasons that Kanye allegedly has? So let's just check this out real quick.
Do you talk to Obama still?
I was Obama's favorite artist. He actually met with me. Obama met with me and my mama to say that he was running for office back in 2008. And that he wanted the support. And everybody was so into this idea of the Black president. And you were always cool. And it's also like, you know, how many of us are there? You know, Obama level, Ye level, you know, Virgil level, just Black, you know, so brilliant that we cut through all of the lines of racism. Like, you just can't get rid of us. Nat King Cole level.
Now, so far, what he's saying, what do you guys think? Cassie says she doesn't have a relationship with Obama. Yeah, I'm with Cassie on that. Carlton says, I parted from Obama around 2014. What do you guys think about what Kanye West is saying right now? See, like, one thing that's really interesting about Kanye West is he has a very interesting poetic way of saying coon stuff. And the way that he does it, he can slide it like right under the rug. I'm curious to know how he cut through the lines of racism. And once we get to where we need to be, I'm going to ask that question again. Because as you witness what Kanye West is going through now, this is my question for everybody that's watching. Has Kanye West cut through the lines of racism? Now, my thing is, that's not up to Kanye, whether he cut through the lines of racism or not. That's up to the behavior pattern of white people. And as you can see currently in the current situation, everything that's happened to Kanye West that has not happened to other people, Kanye West may be under the delusion that he cut through racism, but white people are surely letting him know that he has not. If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to my man SGR7th. What up with it?
Dave Chappelle level. So in some place we'd have to be friends and get along, because it's like, yo, you're at that level. You're like a, you know, Formula One Lewis Hamilton race car driver.
Shout out
We're
DJ
still
Elmo.
driving a white car, but we're the best race car drivers that ever existed. And that was me and Obama's connection. But soon as I wasn't saying the things that I was supposed to say as a rapper, our connection faded.
Now, here's my question, and I want to know this from you guys. What are the alleged things that Obama would have expected Kanye to say? What are the things that Kanye should have said? See, this is one of the things, in my opinion, that we need to look at and we need to decode. What is the things that Kanye West, quote unquote, should have said? Because then once we get a handle on these things that Kanye West allegedly should have said, we can then match them up to propaganda that we hear today. And then we can ask ourselves the question, is this individual being told to say this? Or is this an authentic message from this individual? Shout out to Val. Shout out to Al McCowan. Shout out to my man Vovo to Love. What up with it? Good to see y'all.
So you don't talk to him anymore?
I'll talk to him if I see him.
Yep.
But I guarantee you he see me.
Shout out to my man Crypto Key. What up?
One idea that was in my head about 3 minutes ago that I really want to say that's really interesting about.
Now, check this out. And this is a side note. Have you all noticed that for about the last 3 or 4 days, Kanye had, now he's not wearing the same outfit here, but you guys will see what I'm starting to say. He's been wearing the same clothes for a while. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that in the back of your head.
When companies get the BLM managers.
What's a BLM manager?
Black Lives Matter office manager. It's basically you get a semi-influential Black person to become the face of a white company.
Yeah.
Right. So that means.
So now here's my question: is this when we're talking about Black Lives Matter? Okay. Is Black Lives Matter the first white company that has had a black face to lead with? Yes or no? And if you guys know more companies that have done that, give me a list of them in the chat. Shout out to my man Harold Hamlin, B1. What up with it, bro? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed that like button, please make sure that you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not shared the video out, please make sure that you guys share the video out. And just on a side note, I was watching Tariq Nasheed's live stream last night, and I just think that Roland Martin is just utterly deplorable for flat out, I should say fat out when we're talking about him, lying about the AAPI hate crime bill. What a piece of shit.
It's like in the design world, in the art world, they actually would pick artists that were less talented than other artists based on their influence.
Shout out to RG Titan. What up, bro?
Based on their actual work, because everyone is vying for influence and an opinion. Everyone is afraid of losing their opinion. So with Nike, right? Nike is as famous as, you say Nike's more famous than PayPal, right?
Yeah.
Right. What number company do you think PayPal is?
I don't know.
Number 4.
Overall?
Overall, you got, well, you know the number 1 is, right? It's Apple.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting number 2, but number 3 is McDonald's. Then SpaceX is maybe 6 or 7. It's really interesting that as lit as Elon is, his previous company is actually still worth more than SpaceX. So what number company do you think Nike is? The Nike. Number 321. It's not there to be as big a financial company as it can be. It's there as an influencer because Black people love Nike.
Now, here's my question. I think that's an interesting point. And my question is, do you guys agree with that or do you guys disagree? If you guys agree that Nike is there to be an influence, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, Nike is not there to be an influence, give me a thumbs down. Now, another thing that I want you guys to do, all right, is I want you guys to think of other companies. I want you guys to think of other images, other TV shows, other activities. What is it that you feel that you all are bombarded with on a daily basis? And what kind of messages come from those things that you're bombarded with? Shout out to my man AB Promotion and shout out to my man Keith Weston. What up with it, y'all? Now, one thing that I find fascinating is that this is not a real popular part of the interview. Not a lot of people reviewed this, but I thought that this was pretty interesting. You know what I'm saying? I thought that this was pretty interesting. Yeah, you see interracial couples all the time. Facts. Commercial ads, political ads. Yeah. LGBTQ reality shows. What's the purpose of those things? What is the purpose of those messages that the media is putting in your face? And here's my question. How do you control what you're bombarded with? Because see, I think that that's something that people need to explore, right? Because a lot of times, you guys will see me do a stream with Izzy, or you guys will see me do a stream with TD, and I won't know what they're talking about. If they're talking about something that's on TV, and that's because I don't watch TV. Shout out to my man Torian Rain. What up with it, bro? I don't watch TV. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch a lot of Netflix. Only once in a blue moon. I hear that stuff in the background. So when it comes to those kind of things, I'm kind of clueless on that. I don't play video games or nothing like that. And it's interesting because, like, I kind of find myself in a different world than a lot of people. That really takes up a lot of people's conversation. How many times a day do you talk about a TV show? How many times a day do you talk about sports? How many times a day do you talk about propaganda? Now, how many times a day do you have meaningful conversations? There's a reason for all of that. There's a reason for all of that. I think that this is some interesting stuff, and I think it's some interesting stuff that should be thought about. But just pay very close attention, though, because Kanye is real good at sliding in that coon stuff and making it sound real good.
So
shout out to
Nike
Roots Trackers.
is
What up
like
with it?
a company that is redlining and gerrymandering Black people. So the reason why Gap wanted me to go to Gap, it wasn't based on, oh, we need to get our stocks up. It's like these companies, when they've been around for a long time, Gap's
Shout out
like,
to my man Cole Obsidian. What up with it, bro?
We're never going to be Apple. And all of these American companies somehow took this deal where they start putting in these really awkward, weird number kind of CEOs. Like Nike's got one, the Gap had one, it didn't work out. And there's all of these weird operators inside of companies, even in Balenciaga,
Yeah, exactly. See, that's that stuff that we was talking about, bro. That's that stuff that we was talking about. Because remember, we're not gonna ever lead with the financial status. A lot of times they don't ever lead with the educational status either. Now, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole here on this. This is gonna be one of those stream marathons. You guys see I moved back that other stream that I had planned on doing. There's a lot. There's a lot. You know what I mean? There's a lot.
They're just there for control. Steve Jobs talked about it. It's the most important thing you can have is control. Look at me.
Now, I agree 100% with that. Do you guys agree with that? I agree with that 100%. So now here's my question, right? He said that control is the most important thing, right? Here's my question. Out of everything that you watch on TV, out of everything that you put yourself around, how much of it encourages you to control something? That's my question. Now, let me ask you guys, I've been doing this new thing with everybody. You know, I like to come up with these new things like saying the world is correct and that kind of stuff. Here's my question. Take a look around you, right? Do a 360. Now, everything that you see within your vision, out of all of that, tell me how many products started from a black means of production, was delivered through a black supply chain, and sold to you all the way through. Tell me how many products you see in your visual field that was done with. Now, the next thing is, after you tell me that number, because you should probably be able to do that fairly quickly, unless you're watching this video from Wakanda. The next thing I want you to do is tell me how many products that you see like that come from somewhere else. My man Carlton says, uh-oh, off-code media. Now, the reason why is because you could use this as a mathematical function, right? All of that money from each particular supply chain, the raw inputs, the transportation, the logistics, and then the consumer distribution all the way to the customer, right? That's money changing hands multiple times. So now if you look around and you don't see anything, you know, Solo T says he sees 8 things, so that's good. That's what's up. If you don't see anything that was created from end to beginning and the money was paid out to completely 110% black, as DJ Elmo says, vertically integrated businesses, does it make sense why there's a racial wealth gap? Because all of that money went to someone else and none of that money went to us. Just take a moment and think about that. That's a lot of money. The plastic that went into the case on your cell phone, the microchips inside of it. Shout out to my man Desmond. What up with it? Shout out to Carla. What's up with it, Carla? Somebody should do a study about that. How much money is being made through vertical integration or vertical integration? Yeah. Racially. What do you think that would look like? Now, that's a serious disparity. And that's not a disparity that can be argued with. Here's my question for you guys. When is the last time you heard any Democrats say that that's something that they'll put into their political initiatives? Stacey Abrams says a lot of nonsense about small black businesses. What good is having a small black business if you have to buy all of your products from non-black businesses? How does that work? You can't maintain full power unless you own a supply chain from the beginning all the way through to the end. That is one of the problems that Kanye West is running into. As much money as he has, he doesn't own the supply chain all the way through. He doesn't have a network that owns the supply chain all the way through. So now my question is, why is it that when you turn on TV that's geared for black people, why is it that they don't talk about that? Yeah, gross national product. Facts, Carla. Yeah, Val, that's facts. Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about taking over an industry vertically and horizontally from the beginning to the end. Yeah, that's the way you maintain full and 110% power, control. That's one of the ways that you can sanction proof yourself. You see, that's one of the things that Russia is doing with the gas. if you don't own a supply chain all the way through, you can get what's called bottlenecks. And what bottlenecks are is if there's something that ends up being like a monkey wrench in the system. You know what I'm saying? So, like, say, for instance, you have a product, right? And you have raw components that go into it. Well, say, for instance, you get into an altercation with your supplier, and your supplier either jacks up the price or cuts off your supply. Now you can't make your product. You can't deliver things on time. So you're still vulnerable in those ways. If you're black and you own a restaurant and you're still getting your food from, your raw food, like your vegetables or your chicken from, Bob Evans' farm in Ohio, and Bob Evans says, you know what, I'm tired of woke culture. I'm not selling anything to black people anymore. Then he just stops. Where are you going to get your food from? Then what happens to your restaurant? Kanye West is having his money, liquidity, and his transaction ability tampered with as a result of his current situation. Okay. What happened to that good old Tulsa bank? Remember they talked about that black and brown Tulsa bank in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they hijacked the issues of the Tulsa race massacre and created a nonsensical bank for everybody. Okay, well, that's supposed to be Black Wall Street, according to the Democrats. That's supposed to be in existence for situations like this. If I was Kanye West, I don't know if I would have necessarily bought Parler. I might have bought a local bank. You know what I'm saying? First, set it up to where I can do my transactions independently through my bank, and then marketed it to where, I could start maybe a chain of banks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I agree, Deneen. If you don't own end to end, you're nothing but a well-paid brand ambassador. Facts. Facts. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing that All Money Ain't Good Money series. And that's why I expanded it to All Money Ain't Good Money Global. Because, again, if empowerment is supposed to be economic, this is the kind of stuff that people need to be seeing. The vulnerabilities and the issues of not having these things in place, how they can set you up for serious vulnerabilities. You see what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 30 people watching. Shout out and thank you to all 30 people that are here. If everybody could smash that like button and get us to 44 likes, that'd be awesome. We're at the mercy and we're at the vulnerability of everybody that does have a complete supply chain. Yeah, I agree, Torian. They need a major player to bring the app back to life. And I agree with you, Ricky. Kanye definitely wants to be a part of white establishment. He wants to be a part of white establishment and then say a few fringe things here and there to try to still have comfort inside of his black skin, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DeAndre. What up with it, bro? So let's listen to some more.
All the money, all the influence, and I have to act a complete ass to have any say-so of anything that my children are doing, because that group of people have control and say-so over all the children inside of the clan. So that's what these companies are set up for. That's the type of CEOs they're hiring, especially when the founders are out of there.
So now, again, this part right here, what Kanye is saying, this is actually absolutely right. If you think about who owns all the technology companies, who owns all the social media companies, and who owns the banks and who owns the legal system, literally there's a group of people that has inside information about every element of your life, but you don't know anything about them. Have you guys ever thought about that? Social media. We know who owns the social media. We know who owns Hollywood. We know who owns the sports. We know who owns the technology companies. How is it that certain people always have some weird stuff that comes up about them? Just randomly. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, all of a sudden there's these allegations that this happened. Where did those come from? It's because despite the fact that people don't think that we're in a dystopia, we actually already are. And there's already a group of people staring at us already that knows everything about us through technology. You could have a secret that you think is going to the grave with you, but it's not going to the grave with you. Now that your phones are automatically linked to a 3G or a 4G or a 5G network or your Wi-Fi, the information is traveling back and forth to either Google or Apple, Facebook. They can access your photo libraries. They know everything, but you don't know anything about them. And you're paying them for these services in exchange for them having unrelenting access to all of your information to utilize as they please. Did you guys know that Facebook makes a large portion of its profits from data mining? There's a lawsuit going on every damn day almost about Facebook and data mining. I'm going to go off of this screen real quick. I got another video planned. I've been trying to get some videos and some live streams and stuff done, but your boy been kind of under the weather. But I want to show you guys something. I'm going to try to get some stuff out here for y'all today. How many of you guys heard about this right here? Look at this. Good Lord have mercy. The next Crimecast is going to be like 10 hours long. So y'all get ready. Sheesh. People out here doing some of the stupidest stuff ever. And every single time I open up a damn window, somebody doing something dumb. But anyway, look at this. Google sued by Texas over invasive collection of voice and face data. That's one of the reasons why I never use that talk to text stuff. I've never used that. And I don't use facial recognition on my phone. And I don't like using the fingerprint. I don't like using any kind of biometric identifications. I don't. I never have. And now Google is getting sued over invasive collection of voice and face data. This happened in Canada also during C-19. So this is just more evidence of what I'm saying about technology being weaponized as a form of surveillance. You think that it's the media. They have a whole library of information about you. The NSA, you know what I'm saying? They have a ton of information about you, just waiting to be used if they need to. So let's check out the rest of this.
They kind of just give the companies up to a bunch of people, and they're all in cahoots. Like anyone that ever worked with me, they just look at, oh, who's yay farming for talent that we can hire to be our new BLM office manager. Like kind of like Obama.
What do you think of Obama as a BLM office manager?
Best one ever.
Yeah.
Best one ever. And I think Obama, just like Virgil, these people were truly Black to their core and truly brilliant to their core. but they went into situations thinking that they could do it the white way as a black man. And we saw.
So here, this is where you get like some weird stuff coming from Kanye, because don't you guys think that that's kind of what Kanye is doing? Now, let's just keep it a buck. If you live here in the United States, I mean, you know, you can be you to a reasonable extent. But to another extent, everything has to somewhat be done, quote unquote, the white way. Yeah, I agree, Tori, and that's what he's doing, and he's going above and beyond, not just the standard thing. You know, first and last name, speaking English. You know what I'm saying? Doing stupid stuff like wearing neckties and bow ties. You know, monogamy. You know what I'm saying? Like Christianity. I'm not talking about stuff like that. I'm talking about like literal. Kanye is gone like full alt-right in order to appease a crowd. So I find it interesting that he's saying this kind of stuff while there's some people who just do it because it's a inseparable part of our culture here in the United States. Kanye West is going beyond the cultural aspect and just doing it just to do it. So that's just really interesting to me. I mean, like it's like, bro, do you know that you're talking about yourself right now? Like, you know what I'm saying?
What color Obama's hair was when he went in, and we saw what color it was when he went out. You know, Virgil lost all his hair, you know, and eventually passed away. So when I have techniques that are revolutionary, if I raise my voice, if I express myself on Instagram, it's a colonic. And people can say, oh, this what you're doing is toxic. If what I'm saying is toxic, I got to do everything to get it out of my body. And there'll be times where I see a level of like oppression, Parisian proper, like next level, you know, France owns 80% of African banks level colonization, oppression. And I'll be like, I'm not going to let you guys kill me. But one thing that has to really happen, say if Trump ran, right? We're not just going to be black influence. We're going to be vision and creativity.
So now again, like I gotta ask. Do you guys think that me personally, I've already voiced my opinion about this. I mean, to me, it literally seems like he just went to the front office of the Manhattan Institute and picked up a script, you know what I'm saying? And it's been going around repeating it with a little bit of, you know, with a little bit of black talking points sprinkled throughout. You know what I'm saying? It's really odd. I don't know if you guys recall way back in the day when I was talking about that weird mix of pro-black conservatism where people are like oddly Trump extremists, but they're blackety black at the same time, like some young Pharaoh type shit. That's what Kanye West is doing. Like, yeah, it was like 6 months ago. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Time goes fast. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Ronnie. What up with it, bro? So like how much do you guys how much influence do you guys think that some of these white supremacist think tanks like the Manhattan Institute and PragerU and Project Veritas influenced Kanye West in his message? Virgil's a poet, I think, from like ancient times.
Got to rethink who we are as a species, Right now, we practice killing ourselves every day. Like murder is legal in America. You know.
In abortion.
Yes. So
see, like this is where he does that coon shit. Like he's sliding abortion in to downplay white hate crimes and police violence, but trying to sound extra pro-black while doing it. Like, you got to pay very close attention to this weird stuff, man. There's people that do stuff like this all the time, especially people on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? A lot of black conservatives that want to appeal to a broader base of black people do this kind of nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Virgil is the off-white designer. Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know that there was a bunch of Facebook and Google class action lawsuits going on nationally. I didn't know that.
Whoever gets the position needs to listen to the vision. I didn't know it was going to rhyme when I first started. They need to have Elon. They need to have me. You should start with those two. And then
pay very close attention to how he named Elon before himself. I want to know what you guys think about that. He named Elon before himself, and pay very close attention. Like when he's naming people, he always names somebody white before himself. And this is what I'm talking about. People don't like when I be like, Kanye is one of them dudes that's starved for white male leadership. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people that think that Kanye is the second coming of Yeshua, and he's not. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no such thing as second comings of fairy tales. But this is what Kanye does. This is what a lot of people on YouTube do. They do this same shit with Jordan Peterson. You know what I'm saying? They do this same shit. Man, I swear Kanye has more good things to say about Trump and Elon Musk than he has to say about his own mother. He's got more good things to say about Trump and Elon Musk than his own mother. Shout out to my man Jabari. What up with it? What up with it, bro? What is the point? Let me know what you feel the point is. Because I agree with some of the stuff that he's saying, but at the same time, he's playing both sides. You know what I'm saying? And that's important to pay attention to too, because in my opinion, this right here, this is just another form of blaxploitation politics coming from the right. This is no different. No. It's all love, bro. It's all love. No worries. You know what I'm saying? No worries. I always encourage people, if they have a disagreement, feel free to type it in the comment section. You're not gonna get attacked, bro. I ain't trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? But I always feel that the left and the right do the same thing, and in my opinion, this is the version of the right doing that. All love, but I'm just saying we can eat the meat and leave. Yeah, I agree, and leave the eye bone. Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely, 100%. I agree with that, and that's what I'm saying. So the things that I agree with that he's saying, I'll let you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I agree with this part. What I don't agree with, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna be like, I don't know about this. But there's more. How many of you guys know who Nuru Witherspoon is? If you guys know who Nuru Witherspoon is, give me a thumbs up. If you guys do not know who Nuru Witherspoon is, give me a thumbs down.
And we'll get to the rest of them. We could pull in a Johnny Ives, we'll pull in all of our living, super brilliant people. And we need to analyze and not just sell out for the cash. Like these Fortune 500 companies, they're just selling out for the cash, and put God first. And the best representation of God is the children. The children is the extension of the family. Put the families first. There's so many things. Suburbs, the train tracks being ripped up by GM just for capitalism. All these ideas.
So pay very close attention to how he said in the suburbs, the train tracks being ripped up just for the capitalism. So you're not going to say anything about how the freeway system was ran directly through black neighborhoods. I mean, this is a suburb problem. Now we're going down that rabbit hole of Tory and Reigns' black KK Karen video about Candace Owens, where we're talking about how white people have the biggest plight in the United States because, they're ripping up railroad tracks in the suburbs. Like, come on, bro. And but like, pay very close attention to how he tries to do it real super slick. Shout out to my man Kareem. What up with it?
Is that we have. We're now living in a place where we're the orphans of capitalism, and we just have to take a pause and rethink how we can have the most beautiful existence possible for our children, for the kids. And we're all kids. Yeah. We're all God's kids.
Now, this focus on the kids that he has, he keeps talking about the kids. That is literally directly from the Manhattan Institute playbook of how to instill fear. That's one of the reasons why they're going so hard against CRT and going so hard against that Don't Say Gay bill, which I don't care about the Don't Say Gay bill, but we all know that CRT is white code words for black history. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was an interesting interview. As usual with Kanye, he brought up some relevant things mixed with a lot of word salad. So now, next, he's been wearing this outfit like for a while now. And, the thing is, if I was him, I would change clothes. And the reason why I would change clothes if I was him, I'll show you guys in a minute. You know what I'm saying? I'll show you guys in a minute. And I'm not saying that to clown him. All right. So don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to sit here and make fun of his clothes. When I'm making fun of Kanye, y'all know I'm making fun of Kanye. I'm not making fun of Kanye right now. I'm just saying if I was him, I would seriously change clothes. You know what I'm saying? So this video right here is Kanye opening up about fatherhood, the Donda Academy, and his broken business deals. All right. So I think the most important thing that we need to talk about here, excuse me, is the broken business deals. All right. The broken business deals. Okay. Now, here's my question for you guys. How many broken business deals of Kanye's are you all aware of? We know currently that there's a broken business deal with Chase, right? And we know about the new one with Balenciaga. I guess that's how you say that. I don't know if I said that right. But what other broken business deals has Kanye been a part of? Has he had dealings with? You guys know? What business deals have been broken when it comes to Kanye? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 44 people watching. Shout out and thank you to all 44 of you all who are watching. Only problem is we got 19 likes. If everybody can take a moment and smash that like button and help us get to 53, that would be awesome. Balenciaga, is that it? Balenciaga. I don't know what the hell that means. Why do people name shit like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so who knows what the Donda Academy is? If you guys know what the Donda Academy is, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down. What is the Donda Academy? Balenciaga. Wait, Balenciaga? Is that it? Balenciaga? Oh, shout out. Hey, yo, everybody drop some radiation emojis from my man Kareem. Shout out to my man Kareem for getting the promotion. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. Make sure y'all show some love.
Throughout history where people were misunderstood in their time. I need to be able to actualize these things that are 20 years ahead and bring them to people.
I'm just about to put it out here. Like, I don't like full leather skirts like that on women. Like, that's just me. Like,
History
look at it. Look
where
at
people were
it.
misunderstood in their time. I
just like that. Like the full leather thing. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, is she ain't a bad looking woman either? But like, it's like I don't that shit like reminds me of the 80s or something for some reason. You know what I'm saying?
need to be able to actualize these things that are 20 years ahead and bring them to people in real life. The world needs to enjoy what's in my imagination.
Do you feel like most people don't get it? Like you're trying to always over explain what's obvious to you and most people just don't feel or understand?
Yes.
For decades, Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, has engineered his imagination.
Shout out to Claiborne Bay. So now here's my question. Have you guys seen this interview yet? If you guys saw this interview, give me a thumbs up. If you guys haven't, give me a thumbs down. Hey. Lots of zippers. You know what I'm saying?
Into an empire, one that includes 24 Grammys, more than 80 platinum singles, and a fashion business valued in the billions. But for all his accolades and achievements, Ye has recently grabbed headlines for his social media outbursts. His latest targets, Gap and Adidas. Ye.
Now, here's my question. I want you guys to do me a favor, all right? And I need everybody in the comment section to help me out. How many celebrities, how many well-known people have had quote-unquote social media outbursts that have been similar to Kanye? Name some people for me in the comment section and what they did.
And his apparel company Yeezy recently refused to collaborate further with the Gap, and they're now threatening to do the same with Adidas, jeopardizing deals that could be worth billions of dollars.
So now, do you guys see this? Do you guys think that Adidas and the Gap tried to influence Kanye to apologize? Kanye has $1 billion clothing business. But now he's having issues with his businesses. Why? Let me ask you guys something. Out of all the billions of dollars that Kanye has, does he own the complete supply chain? If Kanye owns his complete supply chain, give me a thumbs up. If he doesn't, give me a thumbs down. Now, once you guys answer that question, you know I'm coming with the follow-up. If you don't own the complete supply chain, are you vulnerable?
It was supposed to be a 10-year deal. Why did you want to terminate it?
You know, it's those nuances where people act like they your daddy or something. Like they will be like, shut up because I said so.
Yeezy, Ye's streetwear company, famous for its avant-garde sneaker and apparel designs, originally struck multi-year agreements with Adidas and Gap to develop and sell new co-brand.
So now here's my question, and this is the question that I want to ask everybody. You guys know I love asking questions. This has been an ongoing problem for Black people in business, period, ever. Why is this an issue that Kanye West is so hell-bent to talk about and bring to public attention now? That's my question for everybody. Why is this so important to talk about and go into now? What do you guys think? What's different? What changed? Why is this a focal point now? You know what I'm saying? I think that the timing is significant. We've all heard this kind of story before about, many different people. How many black people have been blocked out of business? If you guys know any black people who have been blocked out of people, the hows and the whys, give it to me in the comment section. Because I think that everybody would agree that this isn't the first time that this has happened to somebody. He said the Europeans talk to him like a little kid. And we know he has to be talking about the Europeans because there's nobody black that owns any kind of enterprise that's large enough to be able to fund that. Keith says Kanye West doesn't own anything and doesn't have his own people in position to help him build, so he's on his own. I agree. And that right there is the predecessor to that supply chain. You see, Kanye should be helping build a supply chain so that he can surround himself by self-sustaining businesses. So if something like that happens, he has a self-repair mechanism. But see, he don't have it. You think Kanye West should be interviewed here, Ronnie, at Blacklight Revelations? I think so too. If you guys agree that Kanye West should be interviewed here at Blacklight Revelations, give me a thumbs up. I'm not TD now. You know what I'm saying? TD got the celebrity interviews. I ain't got the clout like that. So, you know what I'm saying? Plus, I've roasted Kanye way too much. He'd probably not be very happy with me.
Merchandise, but those relationships soured.
You did use social media to show all the restrictions that Adidas and Gap have put on you. So how do you move forward now in the fashion industry when they're saying you can't even not only show Yeezy products, but anything bearing that likeness?
Oh, we got some new lawyers. We pull up. We really had to level up and show them who's the new boss in town, that I'm the boss of me. So I'm not just the mascot in the middle of games, getting the crowd hyped up saying, hey, wear this, do this.
So social media, you feel, is that more hurtful or better?
Speaking of social media, who heard Fat Joe crying about YouTubers? Do you know that Fat Joe said that YouTubers and social media content creators who tell people to give them super chats and hit the Cash App need to go get a job? What do you guys think about that? Fat Joe said that shit. Yeah, he definitely ain't getting away with no buffoonery if he comes here. I think Kanye could hold his own. You know what I'm saying? I think Kanye could hold his own. I don't think he'd answer a lot of my questions, though. You know what I'm saying? He'd probably call me a Karen. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to start calling Fat Joe Pink Joe. I was talking to Bronze the God about that, and I made an executive decision yesterday that that's what I'm going to start doing. I might actually save it to, to December 31st. Make that one of my New Year's resolutions. We'll see.
Beneficial to you?
That's one of my favorite questions this interview. I mean, we can use a car.
Shout out to Tia and
rush somebody to the hospital, or we could use a car and accidentally hit somebody while we're rushing somebody to the hospital. So it's all in how we use it.
His problems aren't limited to business. The father of four still going through a bitter divorce and a drawn-out custody battle with reality star Kim Kardashian, who he married in 2014.
This is the mother of my children, and I apologize for any stress that I have caused, even in my frustration, because God calls me to be stronger. But also, ain't nobody else finna be causing no stress either. I need this person to be least stressed and a best sound mind and as calm as possible to be able to raise those children.
The former couple is now trying to co-parent their children, son Psalm, age 3, and Saint, age 6, and daughters Chicago, age 4, and North, age 9.
And I hear you coach North's basketball team?
Yeah, this was so moving and so important to me. A couple of days ago, I got to see my daughter's improvement in basketball. The first season.
Now, here's my question for everybody. Why is the media not talking about Kanye West's involvement with his daughter? See, these are the questions that you got to ask. Shout out to my man Mike. Shout out to Shatera. What up with it? We out here. You know what I'm saying? We out here.
Just kind of not knowing what to do. You know, as far as co-parenting goes, I put my foot down with Kim and I said, I learned how to play basketball in a summer and came back and won championships. So I, as her dad, am going to go and I'm going to coach her every morning. What you got? Let me see the skills. She trained every day and I really stayed on her. And when she came back, she had the confidence.
I'm curious what your influence is with your children. If you make sure they have one lesson that you're able to instill, what that might be.
Follow God and all the visions and all the dreams and the ideas that he's given me and my children and Kim as visionaries, right? Because we've invented so many things that are relevant to where society is today. All of those things, the more we lean in and the more we follow God and the more obedient we are, the more.
Now, facts, Val. Now, that is the reason why I said he really needs to consider changing his clothes. He really needs to consider changing his clothes and getting a shave, especially right now. We'll go into that in the next article that I pull up.
Or he's going to bless us and bring it to the table.
Do you feel you have a voice as you're co-parenting now?
I do have a voice, but I had to fight for it. That hurts you when you have to like scream about what your kids are wearing, what they're watching, what they're eating. And it's just little nuances where there was a parallel to what was happening at Gap, what was happening at Adidas, and what was happening in my home. It was all a kind of a disregard for the voice of something that I co-created. I co-created the children. I co-created the product at Adidas. I co-created the product at Gap. There's a parallel. And the parallel does touch on discrimination.
Even within your marriage?
Yeah. I want my kids to go to Donda, and I have to fight for a say-so.
How many of you guys know what Donda is? What is Donda? What is Donda? That's the question. What is Donda?
Donda Academy is a private school near Los Angeles that he created and named after his beloved late mother, Donda West.
Well, there you go. She just did a spoiler alert there. Shout out to the Black Narrative, his school. Facts. How come the media doesn't talk about the school that he started? Now, you guys remember when all of this stuff first started and I did that very first stream and I was talking about how Fox News was writing Kanye West's nuts, and I pulled out the old article where the New York Post trashed the Donda Academy? Now it's coming up again, and one of the reasons why it's coming up again is because Kanye wants his kids to go to his school. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't think that's a bad idea. Hopefully the quality of education is good. Now, yeah, Tia said she didn't know that. A lot of people didn't know that. How come you don't hear about the fact that he started a school in the media? If I'm not mistaken, I think the tuition is $15,000 a semester.
Both my parents are educators, but my mother was the first Black female chair of the English department at Chicago State University, and she was a Fulbright scholar.
My colleague Terry Moran interviewed Donda for Nightline just months before her sudden death in 2007.
Then you were a single mom.
Now, this goes into that conspiracy theory where they talk about all of these sacrifices and all of that. She had a sudden death. Most people don't just have sudden deaths.
Raising.
Yes,
How was
a
that?
single mom.
How'd you do that?
Well, it was a lot of fun. It was a challenge, but when you have challenges, that's what makes life worth living, right? Kanye was a great kid, even with
He was
all
a good
the.
boy?
Oh, he was a very good boy.
That surprises us today.
Yeah, he was a very good boy. Now, that doesn't mean that he didn't get into his share of trouble, and he would always challenge you, and you needed to be on your toes.
Ye is hoping to pass the lessons he learned from his mother to the students at Donda Academy.
How many students do you have enrolled?
We're on our third year. We have 82 students.
Give me a sense of why you decided you wanted to create a school and what the mission is.
You know, to be a performing arts school, to be a design school, an architecture school, a farming school, automotive engineering school, a computer, hardware, and software school, financial engineering, not just financial literacy, and also to teach the gospel. And that is Donda.
He says he leans heavily into his faith for all aspects of his life.
People always want to know, I think, about your mental health. You know, you've talked before about how you were diagnosed.
Now we're going into the mental health thing. Now, pay very close attention to this because they're going to talk about what he was diagnosed with. All right. So I want everybody to pay very close attention to this. All right.
Your mental health. You know, you've talked before about how you were diagnosed as bipolar.
You know what?
Now, being diagnosed as bipolar does not mean that you have cognitive delay. It does not mean that you have cognitive insufficiency. It does not mean that you have hallucinations. It does not mean that you're insane. And it does not mean that you're incompetent mentally. And it does not mean that you're a ward of the state. It doesn't mean that you can't make competent decisions. It doesn't mean any of that. Bipolar is simply a fancy word for mood swings. You're in a period of depression, then you swing to a period of mania. Shout out to my man, We Woke Now. Real quick, if one of my moderators can put We Woke Now's channel link in the comment section, I want you guys to go check his channel out, especially if you're following this Kanye stuff. I guarantee you We Woke Now is eating this up because this is right down the alley of his content. Go check his channel out. Really good content. You know what I'm saying? So when people say, well, we have to dismiss what Kanye is saying because he's crazy, that's not true. Bipolar is not crazy. Okay? That is not crazy. That's not an impulse control disorder. It's a mood control disorder. So most people in the United States deal with either anxiety or depression. Those are the same levels of mental illness as bipolarism. And bipolarism can also be treated medically with medications like geodone and lithium. So when assessing the things that Kanye West says, does the bipolarism mean that he's not competent? There's a difference between competent and mentally ill. Mentally ill people are still competent in many cases. You have to be either pink slipped or have a court order. Okay. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to my man We Woke Now for the $50 super chat. Make sure you guys show some love, show some, throw some radiation emojis down. And if somebody can grab the link for his channel and throw it in the chat, that'd be great, so people can go check him out. So now my question is, knowing what we know about bipolarism, why is that brought up all the time when somebody does something? It is not an excuse for bad behavior. There's many people that operate bipolar who are medicated and non-medicated that never have violent or nonsensical outbursts. Why? That's the question.
I think that this idea, this concept of mental health being this big subject is straight up media propaganda to diminish people that are not coloring inside the lines.
Do you agree with that? And I agree, DJ Elmo. Facts. Under whose medical practice? Facts. Do you all agree with what Kanye just said? I'm gonna run that back real quick, because I agree 100%. And it's, in my opinion, it's good that he preemptively said that, because you'll see what goes on later. Okay.
Or about how you were diagnosed as bipolar.
You know what? I think that this idea, this concept of mental health being this big subject is straight up media propaganda to diminish people that are not coloring inside the lines. We just accept this kind of idea of people saying like, hey, we want to talk about your mental health. And it's almost like if a white person said to a black person, hey, we want to talk about your blackness. And one of the things about the whole mental health conversation is even a crazy person can call you crazy.
His next task at hand, rebranding Yeezy, the fashion line known for high-end items like $300 tank tops.
But is that going to be affordable and accessible for people? Because I know some of your sneakers are thousands of dollars.
I mean, if it's up to Meezy, Yeezy, it'd be freezy. You know, Meezy.
People who are going to walk in off the street, can they buy something for 30 bucks?
20.
20 will get me a t-shirt.
Get you 4 t-shirts.
So it's going to be very accessible.
Very accessible.
Very affordable.
Very affordable. It's a start. We haven't got quite to free yet. Got to keep the lights on. We got to keep all these unnecessary in the middle of the day lights on.
He also wants to sell directly to consumers, an idea that he ridiculed back in 2013 during an interview with SiriusXM host Sway Calloway.
Or why don't you empower yourself and don't need them and do it yourself?
How, Sway?
Take a few steps back to go.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got.
So Sway, almost 10
Why is he flipping out like that? You know what I'm saying?
years ago, said, man, why don't you do it on your own? Was he right?
You know what? I will go ahead and say Sway had the answer. I know people are going to be like, no. Sway, you did have the answer.
Today, the artist leans on other famous names for business advice.
I remember Elon.
See, that's the problem. Now, this is what I don't understand, right? I don't understand why you would go on Fox News and talk about how intelligent Dr. Claude Anderson is and then lean on Elon Musk for business advice. Here's Elon Musk's business advice. He has the white privilege of inheriting a stolen emerald mine from his apartheid parents. The end. I don't know if you guys know the story of Elon Musk, but he even stole emeralds from his parents and got them appraised at a New York City jewelry store and sold them. Yeah, and Sway was right. Facts.
Musk. Did I drop that name slow enough and heavy enough? Name drop. I said, Elon, I just want to do deals like you, big bro. And he said, I don't do deals, I buy things.
His ambitions go far.
See, so Elon Musk just showed Kanye West that the world is correct with that. I don't do deals, I buy things. Basically, I just take shit. Because that's what they do. They just take shit. You know what I'm saying? Elon Musk doesn't really sell stuff either. He still has Tesla, right? He still has SpaceX. Didn't Elon Musk? He has something to do with PayPal too, didn't he? If I'm not mistaken, it was or was it eBay? Which one was it? See, the problem with a lot of these people, like Kanye West and Jay-Z, they sell as soon as something starts being worth a little bit of money. That's not gonna help anything. That's not gonna help anything. You have to stand behind your idea. You see, and I don't know if Elon Musk was being condescending in saying that, or I don't know if he was actually trying to drop some legitimate help. But at the current juncture, he was telling the truth. Yeah, I just buy things. Like you see, he does just buy things. He was upset about Twitter, so he just bought it. That's the kind of moves that you can make when you have all of that money. See, Kanye can't correct anything like that. Kanye bought Parler because Elon Musk bought Twitter. So now you know what Kanye West is doing as far as like business. These are copycat business deals. Again, like this is what I'm talking about somebody that wants white male leadership. Like he's just copying what Elon Musk did. It's like if there's a copycat killer, somebody goes around and copies what Jeffrey Dahmer did. That's what Kanye West is doing. He's copycatting Elon Musk. I'm sure he'll even admit to it if you asked him. Now, he'll follow what Elon Musk does, but 11 years ago, when Sway told him the most effective way to do business, he didn't listen to Sway. You see how he starts screaming at Sway. Do you think he's ever screamed at Elon Musk like that? Now, my question is, I wonder how much money he's made off of using the Sway business model versus how much money he's made using the Musk business model. Exactly. You see, Ice Cube used Dr. Claude Anderson, and that's why I can't take Kanye dropping Dr. Claude Anderson's name serious. You drop Dr. Claude Anderson's name, and then you turn around and talk about you get your advice from Elon Musk. Dr. Claude Anderson has business degrees and degrees in economy. I mean, why didn't you put some money into that high-speed rail system that Dr. Claude Anderson is trying to get off the ground? Yeah. Kanye is finding out that there's a wealth gap in the billionaire class. He's also finding out that the world is correct.
Far beyond the boardroom.
Well, I'm actually curious because obviously you did run for president in 2020. Do you have future political aspirations?
Yes, absolutely. The aspirations, you know, that time wasn't in God's time. I'm sure God had me fall on the sword and say, this is not the time.
But Ye says he isn't finished yet.
People write off the fact that I'm going to change the world. They just think it's crazy.
How are you going to change the world?
More? How are we going to change the world more?
More.
We're going to change the world through information, through knowledge, through love, through respect, through understanding.
Kanye up top, Kanye!
Right now, Ye is, can you finish that sentence?
So we got the gist of that. All right. Now, the reason why I said that Kanye needs to change clothes, is because, believe it or not, a disheveled appearance is indicative of a mental disorder. All right. A disheveled appearance is indicative of a mental disorder called schizophrenia, or sometimes it's called schizoaffective disorder, depending on how severe the symptoms are. Okay. So now, with the media attempting to stigmatize Kanye West and trying to, bring up the mental health history and associate him with mental health, most people, when you say mental health, they immediately think of crazy. And remember, we live in a post-truth society. Shout out to my man Sid. What up with it, bro? We live in a post-truth society. So since we live in a post-truth society, facts are not important. Only the way people feel is important. So if we feel that certain things are incorrect about what Kanye West said, if we feel that certain things are correct about what Kanye West said, as long as we're comforted and validated by something that we hear that makes us feel good, it's more important than a fact. Why is Kanye acting like this? There can't be anything relevant or truthful about anything that he said. It makes me more comfortable to just write this guy off as crazy. How many times have you guys seen that? This is an article from the Sunday Times. The fall of Kanye West. Now, here's my question. Where has Kanye West fallen from? When mega celebrity meets mental illness. All right. So apparently this is what the issue is here. A mega celebrity has met mental illness. If you guys agree that a mega celebrity has met mental illness, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Okay. The very public decline of the rapper, who posted an anti-Semitic rant, makes for an extremely uncomfortable viewing, writes Josh Clancy. So what I want you guys to understand is that the only thing that Kanye West did wrong by society's standards is any comments that he made that could be misconstrued or construed as anti-Semitism. Now, in a room that is majority black people, and if you're not black and you're in this room, you know what I'm saying, you're a very open-minded person. We all know that the anti-black comments and anti-black antics that he's done matter just as much. But what society is outraged by is this quote-unquote anti-Semitism revolving around George Floyd, who I don't know how that has anything to do with anti-Semitism. Actually, I do. We'll get into that when we start talking about Nuru Witherspoon. Okay. Now, if Kanye West had never disclosed anything about his mental health, he probably would be able to sue these media outlets that are saying that he's crazy. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed the like button, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, it's free. Take a moment, hit that bell icon twice. So let me ask you guys questions here before we get started. Let's talk about non-black celebrities. How many non-black celebrities have you seen scrutinized for anti-Semitism? Name them in the comment section for me. How many known non-black people have been labeled quote-unquote anti-Semites? Now, my question is, any of the stuff that you see going on with Kanye West, was it going on with them? Appreciate it, Sid. So now what we need to understand is that the world is not fair. We can sit here and we can talk about this as much as we want. We can sit here and compare, well, this person had this happen and that person had this happen and that person had this happen, but this person had that person. And guess what? It doesn't matter because there's no rule that says that the world has to be fair. Shout out to Tammy. What up with it, Tammy? So now Kanye has a mental illness because he said something that was allegedly anti-Semitic. What about his Now, I want you guys to pay very close attention to this. And this is the world. This is all non-black people. He's not accountable for any anti-black comment that he ever made, which is the world telling us that the world agrees with those comments and that they're fact. The only thing that the world has a problem with is the quote-unquote untrue things, which have to be the anti-Semitic comments, which is ultimately extremely anti-black. Pay very close attention to what somebody is punished for and dragged for. And when you own complete supply chains, do you see how a complete supply chain can be weaponized against you? Look at how the media supply chain is being weaponized against Kanye West. Do you guys see it? You have to put on a set of glasses with a bunch of different lenses. You guys remember the Predator? And when the Predator is hunting people down, he had changed the lenses on his eyes. It'll be infrared, then it'll be X-ray, then it'll be ultraviolet. That's what you got to do when you look at this kind of stuff. You got to change the lenses on it so you can see it properly. So what we know now is that it's permissible for anti-black hate speech. Fact, Keith. Shout out to my man Cameron. What up with it, bro? So now here it says he might not be Shakespeare in his flesh, as he once claimed, but for many, Kanye West is a genius. Now they say for many, Kanye West is a genius. And this is the danger that I be talking about. Stop calling people geniuses that aren't geniuses. This is them dog whistling about black people because there's not any white people out there calling Kanye West a genius. Tucker Carlson sat there for about an hour with him and not once called him a genius. You know what I'm saying? One of the great music artists of our time, the David Bowie of hip-hop, relentlessly innovative, unique. Many allow their dislike of Kanye, the man, to color their views of his creative talent. Others have so much admiration they've been willing to excuse his behavior, as we have with obnoxious artists going all the way back to troublemaker Caravaggio. I don't know who that is. It's also no secret that West is ill. So here we go. Now we're going to go down the mental health route so that nobody listens to what he's saying. Now we're going to go down the mental health route so that nobody knows what he's saying or nobody pays attention to what he's saying. He has spent, here we go. He has spent time in a psychiatric hospital, and in 2016, he was diagnosed as bipolar. Now, here's my question, and I need multiple answers for this in the comment section. What does bipolarism have to do with your decision-making ability? If you are bipolar, does that automatically mean that you are cognitively incompetent? That's the question. But even tolerance for an unwell genius has its limits. In the past fortnight, it feels as if a tipping point has been reached. How has it come to this? I'll tell you one way it hasn't come to this. Society was not outraged by the things that he said about George Floyd and about black people. Now, here's my question. That should be motivation for Black people to want to be able to instill consequences, right? I want to ask everybody in the comment section, how does it feel that the world has just told everybody and just showed their true colors of how they value another group and have zero value for us? It's offensive for you to offend this group of people, but if they say these things about you, then that stuff is correct. And mind you, that group of people is a group of people that co-opted the civil rights movement and manipulated it for their use. How does that feel? What does that make you think? The West story is an unholy collision between the unchecked power of mega celebrity, which, what power? He clearly has none. The dangers of unfiltered social media, and a genius with a serious mental health problem in need of help. What kind of help does Kanye West need? Excuse me. What kind of help does Kanye West need? West, who is known as Ye, has made anti-Semitic jibes in the past, but a garbled Twitter rant last Sunday crossed a dangerous line. Now, mind you, saying that slavery was a choice did not cross a dangerous line, but everything that he said about this other group of people was true. If this is not a very clear declaration of war against Black people, I don't know what is. I don't know how people can continue to look past this. Thank you, Tia. So we're not going to read that part because, they're just looking to, cancel people about that. Damn, excuse me. So now here it says, even ardent Kanye fans have expressed a kind of numb horror as these events have unfolded. As the rapper turned fashion mogul fell deeper into disarray, big brands from Gap to JP Morgan have also cut their ties. So now let me ask you guys a question. Is Kanye West being sanctioned? Yeah, I think it's the weather change, Val. That's why I put that stream back those last 2 days. I've been kind of under the weather. My natural immunity, you know what I'm saying, is protecting me in that regard. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's like the flu or something like that. So if you guys agree that Kanye West is being sanctioned, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree that Kanye West is not being sanctioned, give me a thumbs down and let me know what it is that's going on. If these aren't sanctions, what are they? Now, what I find interesting, right, is the very group of people that has anti-BDS laws to protect them from things like this is weaponizing BDS against an individual. Now, one thing that you don't see the media doing is the media is not critiquing, well, is this fair? Is this correct? Is there a precedent of this being done with other people? The media is trying to beat into your head that this is what's supposed to happen. Let me ask you guys a question. Is this what's supposed to happen? Is this what's supposed to happen? Because that's what the media wants you to believe. Now, what would the media's motive for wanting you to believe that be? Why would the media want you to believe that? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 58 live viewers. Shout out and thank you to everybody that's watching. If everybody could hit that like button and get us to 89, that would be awesome. Smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit that bell. West, who is 45, has made almost as many inflammatory statements on race and politics as Donald Trump over the years, but a stunt earlier this month wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt at Paris Fashion Week felt somehow empty, controversy for its own sake. Now, during a long interview with the Fox News host Tucker Carlson last week, he seemed confused, incoherent, and strayed once more into anti-Semitism. We just watched a section of that video, and he didn't seem confused or incoherent at all. How many people know what the dictionary definition of incoherent is? Incoherent is what somebody who can't pass a sobriety test is. During that time when Tucker Carlson was interviewing Kanye West, do you all feel that Tucker Carlson or that Kanye West would have been able to pass a sobriety test? So now we've gone down the rabbit hole of slander. It was difficult to watch because not only are those dreary garden variety conspiracy theories toxic and racist, they're also, and this would probably upset West more, dull and entirely predictable. The blanks stole all the money. Next, he'll be telling us King Charles is a lizard. The only thing is that he didn't tell us King Charles is a lizard. Actually, that's something that a bunch of white QAnon people said. But what I find fascinating is that they can still use the bank. Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted anti-Semitic things. She can still use her bank. She still has her job in the government, too. Many people trace the root of West's decline. And again, I don't really know how you can consider this a decline if we're looking at total performance when the guy was on Forbes' billionaire list. Noriega on the Drink Champs interview, he was incoherent at times. Not the whole time, but at times. You know what I'm saying? So now we're doing the baby thing. Donda, a professor of English literature, raised West as a single mother in the suburbs of Chicago. She was his guidance counselor, moral compass, and even commercial manager. You know I love you, so I never let you go, he rapped in Hey Mama, a 2005 tribute song. He has not recovered from his loss of his mother, said Ulysses Blakely, an ex-boyfriend of Donda's, in a recent interview. They had such a close bond. She was a very forceful person who sought to fortify him for the real world. Now, my question is, this ex-boyfriend, does he think that the mother would be happy that he went to a media outlet to talk crap about her son? Facts. Facts to everything y'all saying in the comments. And look at this now. In 2009, West ambushed Taylor Swift on stage at the Video Music Awards in New York, interrupting her acceptance speech to declare that the award for the video of the year should have gone to Beyonce instead. This outrage set the tone for much that followed. So he ambushed Taylor Swift, according to this article. In Genius, a Kanye trilogy, a fascinating 3-part Netflix documentary on West that came out earlier this year, the post-Donda decline is immediately apparent. So now what we're doing here, as you guys can see in this article, is we're just blowing Kanye West off as crazy because his mother died. However, what we're not doing is we're not addressing anything that he said. We're not addressing anything that we've said, that he said. Let me ask you guys a question. Now, out of all of the outlandish things that Kanye West has said, and he said plenty of them, how many of them have been addressed? And another thing is why is the world revealing itself about its anti-black racism, showing blatantly how outraged they are about his comments about non-black people, but his comments about black people are allowed? That's the question. It was like the bigger he got, the more he needed her around, is the view of Clarence Cody Simmons, a longtime friend of West who spent years filming him for the documentary. As it did to so many others in America, the Trump era appeared to destabilize West further. He shocked the world by coming out as a Trump fan, donning a red MAGA Make America Great Again hat, sitting down with the president for an Oval Office meeting in 2018. So now, again, let me ask you guys a question. And this is just a theory, a question. Do you all think that the liberal media is taking this situation and using it as a subliminal threat towards black men to say, you better vote Democrat? You better vote Democrat, or else we'll Kanye West you. Do you all feel like that's what the liberal media is doing? Because the reason why I ask that is if you pay attention to the biggest issues that they have with Kanye West, none of the biggest issues that they have with Kanye West is any of the cooning that he's doing. The biggest issues that they have with Kanye West are his right-wing positions. Now, I don't agree with the right wing because I don't agree with being conservative on white supremacy. However, I don't agree with black men being forced to be liberals or Democrats either. Now, we all know that the media is mainly liberal, Democrat owned, operated, and controlled. That's one of the reasons why Jen Psaki is with NBC. That's one of the reasons why the current White House press secretary used to work for NBC. Kayleigh McKinney, who used to be Trump's press secretary, works for Fox, and that's where Kanye was. So my question is this attempting to levy consequences? Let me ask, and the reason why I asked that, how many times has the liberal media wagged its fingers at black men just this week and told black men what they better do and who they better vote for? Absolutely, Cameron. Nobody talks about the anti-Semitism that happens to Palestinians on behalf of a European country in the Middle East. You know what I mean? Nobody talks about the anti-Semitism that happens in Golan Heights in Syria on behalf of a European country in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? People don't talk about that shit. They fuck around and blame Putin for that shit. They blame Assad. Said that Assad set off chlorine gas in a damn daycare. Come to find out it was some British terrorists. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? The OPCW came out with a report that showed exactly where that siren gas came from when Trump was president. That we damn near went to World War III. I think it was back in 2018. So now here it said, when I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman. So again, this is what I'm talking about that whole white male leadership thing. So you feel like you got your magic mushroom. Now you grow from little Mario to Super Mario when you put your red hat on and shit. Whatever. Attacking those who assume that entertainers must have a monolithic voice that's forced to a specific party. And I mean, it does kind of seem like that. And the reason why it seems like that is because entertainment is part of the media. Right, Torian, and people want to call him a genius, though. That's one of the reasons why I say be careful who you calling a genius. You know what I'm saying? A genius is a very special category. Just because you like something that somebody says does not make them a genius. You know what I'm saying? Yep, that would be the one, Cameron. That would be the one. So now here it said it brought him into the orbit of Candace Owens, a controversial black Trump supporter who appeared on stage with him during his Paris Fashion Week stunt and has defended his recent outbursts. The Trump-Kanye summit in 2018 didn't win West many other friends. His fellow rapper T.I. called the meeting repulsive, adding, "I'm ashamed to have ever been associated with you." West underwent a religious revival at this point too, touring America with his Sunday service performances with a live band and gospel choir. At times, one wondered whether he was worshiping Jesus or imitating him. Okay. In July 2020, West announced that he was running for president under the banner of the birthday party. I didn't know that, but that's actually kind of funny. Because when we win, it's everybody's birthday, he told Forbes magazine. So there you go. If you want to join Kanye West's political party, it's called the birthday party. I hope they didn't wear their birthday suits to go get out to vote, because that's sure as hell what the Democrats out here telling people to do. You know what I'm saying? That's sure as hell what the Democrats out here telling people to do. Now, pay very close attention to these numbers, because I told y'all anytime you see a 66, a 13, or a 33, there's always something suspect. And here we go. He received a mere 66,000 votes in 12 states. But Republican operatives poured money into his campaign, hoping he might split the black vote in key states and hand Trump a victory. So again, I find this interesting because this is saying that if the black vote is split, it would hand a Republican the victory. And what the Democrats can't control right now, that they're extremely upset about, is that the black vote is splitting. They're so upset about it that they got that Yakub-headed motherfucker Roland Martin to come on there and lie about the AAPI hate crime bill. That big Yellowstone mountain-headed ass motherfucker went up there and lied about that. So now, again, this is blaxploitation politics. This is blaxploitation politics. Kanye dropping a little bit of jewels that are aligned with a little bit of poison. See, it don't matter where it's coming from, if it's coming from the right or if it's coming from the left. You can't ever get a straight message. They can't never come straight up the middle. Always wearing a kente cloth, moo-moo, facts. His head looked like a damn pot belly. I never seen anything like it. Like his head looked like it should be protruding out of the bottom of a white t-shirt. Like that is, you got the craziest shaped head I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen somebody with android obesity in their damn head, but Roland Martin has that. You know what I'm saying? He probably hired a comedian or something. You know what I'm saying? He probably hired a comedian. The star's latest decline appears to have been driven in part by his divorce from Kim Kardashian after 6 years of marriage. Kim Ye were the biggest thing on the planet for a while, a super couple capable of breaking the internet at will. The couple had 4 children. We all know this. You know what I'm saying? And they don't say shit else. So basically what this is is this is a hit piece on Kanye West to try to discredit him, because what they're saying is that, well, you know, Kanye West is having a mental health moment. I do believe that Kanye West has mental health moments, but I don't believe that this is a particular mental health moment. Now, here's my question. Of the things that Kanye said that many of the people who are watching this live stream agree with, were you all having mental health moments when you said, yeah, you know, I agree with this particular thing that he said? Now, and again, a mental health moment for Kanye would be Kanye being extremely happy or Kanye being extremely sad, period. Because the only mental health diagnosis that Kanye West was diagnosed with is bipolarism, which means that he'll be extremely happy, then he'll be extremely sad. It's like a Sour Patch Kid. You know, first they're sour, then they're sweet. You know what I'm saying? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this Piers Morgan interview. All right? Because Rolling Stone wrote an article and said that Kanye bent the knee. They said that Kanye apologized. I'm kind of torn on whether I feel that Kanye apologized or not. It's almost like one of those pictures that when you look at it, you see something different each time. Now, when I had talked about this before, I said it seemed like he apologized. But on the live stream with me and my man TD Hip Hop Media on Just Talking, if you guys ain't subscribed to Just Talking, please make sure you guys go over there. I was like, yeah, you know, now it kind of sounds to me like he might be talking about George Floyd's family, because he said the families that I hurt. And that's the only family that's been verbal about, you know, anything going on with you know, being hurt or being damaged by anything that Kanye did. So I want to extend that question out to you guys. If you're familiar with this clip, did Kanye apologize for his comments? And again, another question that I'm going to keep on asking is, why is Kanye being forced to apologize for anti-Semitic comments and not being forced to apologize for anti-Black comments? That's the question. In my opinion, that's the question that the media needs to be pushed up on. In my opinion, there needs to be a flood of content that pushes up on the media and talks about the media's blatant anti-Black agenda. They didn't make Nuri Martinez apologize. Nuri Martinez can still bank. A lot of those LA council people that are racist that got caught on tape still have their job. They still have their jobs. Yeah, the same Floyd family that had no issue forgiving Derek Chauvin. And mind you, Derek Chauvin probably still has an existent bank account. Nobody ever said that Derek Chauvin had a mental illness and he actually killed somebody. So what you guys need to see is that there is a force out there. There's a certain factor. There's a certain faction that wants you to see things a certain way, but don't let them. Yeah, I agree, Black Narrative. I hope he doesn't back down and apologize. And anybody who's familiar with my content knows I don't believe in apologies. You should never apologize, even if you've done the most absolute detestable thing. You already did it. Do like Neely Fuller Jr. said and stand behind your work. Call it a day. You already messed up. Oh, well. Make a bigger mess. You know what I'm saying? So let's check this out real quick.
You don't hold accountability to my pain. You're being a Karen.
I'm talking
You
about.
don't
I'm
hold
talking. I'm not a
accountability
Karen
to
and
the pain.
I'm not a Karen, and I'm not going to cancel you, and I'm not going to uncensor you. I'm simply going to challenge you on what you're saying.
You can't.
I think you
can't
don't
cancel me.
understand the pain that you've been causing with some of these comments, and I think that one in particular, I can understand.
Oh my God! God forbid! God forbid! One comment could cause people to feel any of the pain that my people have went through for years. Even like the blacks being ushered to the left during the civil rights movement. No one has cared about black people.
All right.
No one is.
Let me say, I agree that the racism against black people has been utterly deplorable, shameful, unacceptable. And thank God the world is beginning to move to a better place about the way it has treated black people like you. However, one form of racism, yeah, doesn't
it's
justify.
almost in a better place.
Well,
But
one form of racism doesn't justify another.
It's not a better place.
I'm not cutting you off. I'm finishing my sentence so you can respond. One form
not,
of racism. One form of racism. It is racism when you say I'm going deaf for Jewish people.
I was in a position where I've been hurt, and this is the way I had the right to express myself. The point of this interview is for you to question me and then for me to answer and say, okay, even though the same rules are not applied to my people, if a person with a gun or drugs is pulled over and has three other people in the car, they're all going to jail. I'm not going to apply that to Jewish people.
Now, again, one thing that I think that people didn't pay attention to in this is that Piers what's his dude's name? Piers Morgan? I forgot his name. He's not trying to force Kanye to apologize about his comments about black people. Now, what I want you guys to pay very close attention to is that this group of people hijacked the civil rights movement. This group of people also hijacked Uvalde, or not Uvalde, but Buffalo, New York. They got that hate crime bill out of 11 black people getting killed. The same business model as Black Lives Matter. Getting legislation and laws out of black deaths. So my question is, why is Piers Morgan not attempting to force an apology about the things that Kanye has said about black people? The reason why is because Piers Morgan is no different than any of these other clowns, and he believes that anything negative said about black people is correct, and that it's only other groups of people who should not be subject to scrutiny. You know what I'm saying? That's the ongoing theme here in the United States for not just white people, but Asians, Latinos, and both of these nonsensical political parties. Real quick, shout out to my man Jay Bird. What up with it, bro? So now I got to ask you guys a question. Have you guys really heard the media doing any good coverage on this, actually assessing this situation, breaking this stuff down, asking questions, making you think, and not like Dane Calloway, like literally actually making you think?
For the sake of this conversation. Isn't that what you wanted? But you know what you did? You tried to civil rights me. You tried to pull me back to a week ago, but we're here today. There's been plenty of conversations and commentary since that, but you want me to go back to 1960.
No.
You want me to go back to 7 days ago.
All right, let me jump in. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to reflect.
Okay, so have we grown? Have we grown?
Here's how we grow. Yeah, here's how we grow. I want you to reflect.
No, have we grown?
I'm about.
So the way that we grow is to not address the anti-black things and address the things that he says about other groups of people. Pay very close attention to that. That is the baseline thought process of what we're up against in the world. Do you guys see this? Now, my question is, am I being too extreme, or do you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. I don't think that I'm being too extreme. I wish I could say more.
How we grow? You're not in charge of my growth. You're not in charge of my growth, Chris.
Okay, let me phrase it like this. I'm about to suggest to you how you may grow if you choose to grow this way. And you can ignore me. You can ignore me.
Pierce, how much money are you worth?
Not as much as you, sadly.
Exactly. So
now here's my thing. Let me ask you guys this. Pierce got in trouble for anti-black comments, if I'm not mistaken, a while ago. He frequently pushes the line when he talks about Meghan Markle. If I'm not mistaken, I think he got into some anti-black comments involving him and Sharon Osbourne were both talking shit. Which, ironically, when Kanye West came out and said this, that's when Sharon Osbourne went into full Karen mode, talking about she wanted all this money back from Black Lives Matter that she donated. That's why, like I always say, all money ain't good money. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have took the money from you. You can keep that shit. You know what I'm saying? Keep that little pocket change in your bra. You know what I'm saying? I don't need it. Keith says, listening to these buffoons are giving me a headache. Too much babbling over talking. Yeah, I agree. What Piers Morgan is doing is the normalized thought process of your neighbor, of your boss at work, of the teachers at your kids' school. This is when white people say something is woke, this is it. You're supposed to praise all of these other groups and accept every negative thing that all non-black people say about you. That's what white people mean when they say something is woke. Well, why are you contesting facts? You people do commit the crimes. We proved that just earlier this week with Tommy Tuberville. This is how they think. This is their wiring. These people don't even see anything wrong with what Kanye West said about black people because they don't recognize it as anything wrong because it's part of their religion. It's part of the oxygen that they breathe. It's ingrained into their red blood cells. You know what I'm saying? It's literally a part of their culture. So they can't even detect it. Now, what's even more nefarious is that Piers Morgan is such an arrogant prick. He doesn't even think that black people are smart enough to see what he's doing. And Kanye West is just happy to be arguing with a white man. That's the reality of the situation that we're looking at.
Take my advice. Maybe you'll get richer.
I would love to take your business advice.
Why would I listen to you?
Now, here's the thing. Kanye says, why would I listen to you? Right? Piers Morgan has never been sanctioned the way that Kanye West is being sanctioned. There's laws against doing what's being done to Kanye West. They're called BDS laws. How many people know what BDS laws are? If you guys know what anti-BDS laws are, give me a thumbs up. If you don't know what anti-BDS laws are, give me a thumbs down. The black narrative is very close. Anti-BDS laws. Anti-BDS laws and resolutions oppose boycotts of, you see it right there. There's laws against that. Man, that's even crazier than the AAPI hate crime bill. The name comes from the BDS movement, which calls for boycotts, divestment, and sanction against to pressure that same place to meet what it describes as that place's obligations under international law. Anti-BDS laws are designed to make it difficult for people and organizations to participate in boycotts of that particular place, while anti-BDS resolutions are symbolic and non-binding parliamentary condemnations, either of boycotts of that place or of BDS itself. Generally, such condemnations accuse BDS of being the same thing Kanye is being accused of, because everything is that, including talking shit about George Floyd, despite the fact that George Floyd is black. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. and are often followed by laws targeting boycotts of that particular place. Proponents of anti-BDS laws claim that BDS is a form of anti-Semitism, and so such laws legislate against hate speech. Opponents claim that that particular country and its supporters are engaging in lawfare by lobbying anti-BDS laws that infringe upon the right to free speech. Now, why is there always some free speech restriction issue with these people? Why is there always some free speech issue with these people trying to attempt to take away somebody's free speech? You can't even say anything about them. All of the laws that these people come up with are laws that restrict your ability to tell the truth or have negative critique against them. Isn't that interesting? That's clever, isn't it? Seems to me like somebody understands world domination is the only solution. And it ain't just black light revelations. So now let's go back to these two morons.
Why don't you hear what my advice is and then work out if I'm wrong? Can we do that deal?
Well, the thing is, you haven't given me any credit or a moment of reflection for the comparison that I made, the brilliant, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I agree, Keith.
That I made to the cops pulling over one black person and locking everyone up.
I understand what you're saying.
And my tweet having issues. Wait a second, I wasn't done with the sentence. My tweet referring to all Jewish people. I said, for the sake of this conversation, I will refer to the business people who have destroyed me and my people and my fellow creatives. But you didn't even accept that I gave you that. You tried to push me back into 1960.
No, I didn't.
You tried to push me back into last week.
No, I didn't.
Okay, do you accept that example that I gave you?
I understand completely the example you gave me. I think all racism is wrong.
So I feel that we've grown.
I would like you to...
There is no such racism. Anti-black racism is the only racism. It's the only kind of racism that exists in the entire world. Any other claims of racism is completely false and intellectually dishonest. Every other race of people has a supply chain from start to finish, going all the way to their continent of origin. Our continent of origin is still colonized with military bases. Asian businesses extracting and ripping people off, practicing anti-black racism as if there's something special to look at, making fun of little black kids. France, Switzerland, the Netherlands, all of those countries still have people in Africa. And they have people in Africa, not just people in Africa. They have people in Africa that control resources there. I'm looking at comments on one of my videos, and this person here, Silverback X, says, all dating is interracial. There's only one race. You mean interphenotypical dating. People are crazy.
To reflect,
I feel we've grown.
If you feel we've grown, if you've now changed what you wanted to say originally, my question for you is: do you now regret saying DEFCON 3 on Jewish people?
Now, nobody was that interested in saying, "Do you want to change what you said about slavery being a choice?" No one was outraged. Everyone agreed with him, including Piers Morgan. Now, how many people have heard of the Samson option? If you've heard of the Samson option, give me a thumbs up. If you guys have heard of the Samson option, give me a thumbs up. We talked about this on Just Talking. I guarantee you TD's probably not going to clip this part. Shout out to my man Jared. What's up with it? Yeah. The black narrative got it. So now, do you think that that might be why that DEFCON 3 comment, you know what I'm saying, might have made some sideburns curl up? Samson option is the name that some military analysts and authors have given to their deterrence strategy of massive retaliation with nuclear weapons as a last resort against a country whose military has invaded or destroyed much of that particular country. Commentators also have employed term to refer to situations where non-nuclear, these people have threatened conventional weapons such as retaliation. The name is a reference to the biblical Israelite Judge Samson, who pushed apart pillars of a Philistine temple, bringing down the roof and killing himself and thousands of Philistines who captured him. Now, there's this issue of nuclear ambiguity. I don't know if anybody was aware of that. How many people were aware of the issue of nuclear ambiguity over there? Everybody else has to follow strict nuclear laws, and that particular country is out here killing people's nuclear scientists. But we can just do whatever it is that we want to do. This particular country somehow is able to refuse to confirm or deny that it has nuclear weapons, or to describe how it would use them. An official policy of nuclear ambiguity known as nuclear opacity. This has made it difficult for anyone outside of that particular country to describe the country's true nuclear policy definitively, while allowing that country to influence the perceptions, strategies, and actions of other governments, moving in forms of manipulation, a cultural thing. This is a cultural thing. We'll give you a bunch of word salad with poison on it. However, over the years, some leaders have publicly acknowledged their country's nuclear capability. Why do you get to hide how many nuclear weapons that you have? You think that might be why that comment is so jarring? It hit home, literally. So I don't know if people were aware of this, but that particular country stole the United States satellite Renaissance intelligence and used it to target the Soviet Union. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we got them out here doing shit like this, stealing shit, then acting like us and targeting countries with a ton of nuclear missiles. But, you know, who cares? Right? Still, vote blue no matter who. You know what I'm saying? It's probably not a coincidence that that flag is, you know, blue as well, but, you know, neither here nor there, right? Surely, probably mental illnesses or something, you know.
Are you sorry you said that?
No.
I think it matters. You should be.
Absolutely not. You know, I will say I'm sorry for the people that are hurt with the DEFCON, the confusion that I call. I feel like I cause hurt and confusion. And I'm sorry for the families of the people that had nothing to do with the trauma that I had been through, and that I use my platform where you say hurt people. And I was hurt.
It's an uncensored interview. You said something which you've now wished you hadn't said, and you've apologized. I actually think that says a lot about you, right? That shows you've got that ability to be self-aware, to understand when you cross a line. I think someone like...
Understand when you cross what line? Because what's the line that's crossed when people come for us? Where's that line? And what does crossing that line look like? Pierce Morgan was not very concerned about slavery was a choice, and neither was the rest of the United States. Neither was the rest of this shithole country. Keith said, well, there's that apology. So much for coming from a revolutionary background.
you with all your energy and
now, if you pay close attention, it's Piers Morgan who said that Kanye West apologized. What Kanye West said was that he apologized for using his platform to hurt families. He didn't say he apologized for the comments that he made. Piers Morgan said that. So we got Piers Morgan using some "I'm white and I say so" here. And honestly, I think that's kind of why Kanye didn't say anything.
People hurt people. And I was hurt.
It's an uncensored interview. You said something which you've now wished you had.
I'm gonna bring it back a little bit. Okay.
I cause hurt and confusion. And I'm sorry for the families of the people.
See, he said, "I'm sorry for the families." I'm sorry for the families. I'm gonna run it back again real quick.
Changed what you wanted to say originally. My question for you is, do you now regret saying DEFCON 3 on Jewish people? Are you sorry you said that?
No.
I think it matters. You should be.
Absolutely not.
So, okay, so right there, he just said, "I'm not sorry" about saying that. So he didn't apologize for that comment in particular. You guys saw that, right? He directly asked, "Are you sorry for saying this particular thing?" Kanye said, "No, absolutely not." Then he went on to say, "I'm sorry that I hurt certain families." And again, I think he's talking about the Floyd family. So now you have the media and everybody saying, one thing, and we're looking at another. Like, watch this. And I apologize, guys, that I keep sneezing. You know what I'm saying? I apologize for that.
My question for you is, do you now regret saying DEFCON 3 on Jewish people? Are you sorry you said that?
No.
I think it matters. You should be.
Absolutely not.
There we go. No, absolutely not. He's not sorry. And he said it with a smile on his face. So now you got Piers Morgan, who is now trying to get credit for getting an apology that he didn't actually get. But no one's calling Piers Morgan out as a phony journalist. What up with it, Fantasy? Yeah, I know. I need to, DJ Elmo. Yeah, I wouldn't say I don't ever say I'm sorry, bro. That's one thing that I don't do. You know what I'm saying? I just double down, even if it's something bad. I don't care. I don't go by this ethics system because I don't care about what these people think about my ethics. You know what I'm saying? I do need to dust out the studio, DeAndre. I do. You're right about that. Man, my microphone is dusty as hell.
I will say I'm sorry for the people that are hurt with the DEFCON, the confusion that I call. I feel like I cause hurt and confusion. And I'm sorry for the families of the people that had nothing to do with the trauma that I had been through, and that I use my platform where you say hurt people.
So see, you see what he's specifically saying what he's sorry about. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't the DEFCON 5 comment. You know what I'm saying?
And I was hurt.
Yeah. It's an uncensored interview. You said something which you've now wished you hadn't said, and you've apologized. I actually
see now you got so unless there's some part of the interview, because again, they haven't released the full interview yet. So unless this is a cut in from some other part of the interview, I don't know where this apology is that Piers Morgan is talking about.
I think that says a lot about you, right? That shows you've got that ability to be self-aware, to understand when you cross a line. I think someone like you, with all your energy and creativity.
Shout out to KO Kid Fit. What up with it, bro?
You're going to say stuff. The way that you talk constantly and in such an extraordinary manner, you're going to trip up. You're going to say things the wrong way. I don't think there's anything wrong in when you do that, doing what you just did and saying, look, I'm sorry, I crossed a line, I apologize.
I want to say that it's wrong.
If white people don't need to apologize for slavery and white people don't need to pay us reparations, we don't never need to say sorry for shit. If slavery was a thing of the past and we need to get over it, Kanye's comments were a thing of the past. Get over it. Right? I mean, the stuff that Kanye is talking about, they actually got a check for. See, that's what Kanye should have said. Why? You've already been cashed out. You know what I'm saying? White people boldly say no white guilt. They don't give a shit about slavery or any of the contribution to any of the situations that we're dealing with. Now, you can easily go around and say blacks sold slaves to blacks, but you can't talk about who sold weapons in both world wars. Despite the fact that, okay, both are true. But see, I could just get my recessive ass up somewhere and say black people sold black people and it's just okay. This is right. These people are sensitive. Okay, well, I start running people's families and talking about who were dealing arms like Destro from G.I. Joe during World War I and World War II. Ooh, might lose a YouTube channel or two. Might get deplatformed because it's just so outraging. Yeah, I'd be outraged too. That's interesting. You know, every day a white father kills his entire family. Did you guys know that? But that's not a statistic that they talk about. But you know what you hear about every single day? Black on black crime. Now, if I talk about how white men delete their families every day, I'm a black supremacist. I'm a racist. I'm a radical. I'm an extremist. I'm dangerous. You motherfucking right, I'm dangerous. But it's just common day vernacular to talk about black on black crime. That is okay and normal. I just want people to think about that. What's okay and normal? See, even Candace Owens said, shout out to my man Torian Rain, being a white straight male is normal. Actually, it's not. There is nothing normal about that, scientifically or mathematically. Numerically, all the components that go into being white are not mathematically normalized. There's only two things on the planet that are mathematically normal: seawater and black people. And that's because normal means the largest distribution. So you got Candace Owens pushing that bullshit. So now the question is, why is it that we're allowed to say certain shit and we're not allowed to say other things? So in 1492, during the Spanish Renaissance, my question for everybody is, what happened? What happened in 1492 with the Spanish Renaissance? Certain people were expelled from Spain, right? Is that correct? You sure that's who it was, DJ Elmo? The term is especially applied historically to Spanish you-know-whos who outwardly professed Catholicism, but they weren't really Catholic. The phenomenon is especially associated with Renaissance Spain following the massacre of 1391 and the expulsion of a particular group of people in 1492. So now you need to ask yourself the question, was Columbus evicted? Or was he just sailing the ocean blue in 1492 because he felt like it? I think that's the next question that Kanye West should ask. Shout out to Abby. What up with Abby? That's the next question that Kanye should ask. Because, you know, I'd like to know. You know what I mean? The crypto expulsion coincided with the Moors. Facts. We know Christopher Columbus wasn't no Moor. And why would you just decide to take a boat ride places where you've never gone in 1492? I'm going to just get up one day and, you know, sail across the world. Motherfucker, you were running from somebody.
Wrong to hold an apology hostage, and I got to let go of that and free myself of the trauma and say, look, I'm just going to give it all up to God right now and say to those families that are hurt, I really want to give you guys a big hug, and I want to I say I'm sorry for hurting you in my comments, and I want to word it in not in like a political way, but in a presidential way, which means what I knew a president to be when I was growing up.
All right, so there's that, right? So now Piers Morgan is just, he's delusional. And Rolling Stone wrote an article about this. All right. And we're getting there. I promise. I apologize to you guys that this is so long, but I really want you guys to see all of this. Piers Morgan praises Kanye West's apology for anti-Semitic remarks, which didn't occur, moments after rapper said he was absolutely not sorry. I mean, just let that marinate. Piers Morgan praises Kanye West's apology for anti-Semitic remarks moments after rapper said he was absolutely not sorry. Okay. Just over a week before the new segment airs, the Talk TV host was condemning the rapper for his indefensible hate speech. Now, mind you, everything that they're saying about what Kanye West has said about that particular community, it is not being applied to us, which means that they don't look at it as hate speech. Okay? That's what I'm trying to drive home. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to We Woke Now. You know what I'm saying? Next time we run into a paywall on Rolling Stone, we'll have a subscription. You know what I'm saying? Next time we run into a paywall on Rolling Stone, we'll have a subscription. So now it's official here. I forgot. You guys were so nice and putting the pronunciation of this in the stream. I forgot how to say it already, but whatever the hell the name of this place is, they officially cut ties with Kanye West. The fashion label no longer has any relationship nor any plans for future projects related to this artist, the parent company says. All right. When is the last time that has happened when somebody has come out and said something anti-black? That's my question for you guys. See, the reason why I keep bringing it back to that is because this is a form of anti-black racism. You guys, and people need to be able to identify it. This is one group of people getting treated significantly better than us. Balenciaga. Okay, Balenciaga. Man, that just sounds like something you order somewhere to eat. And can I get a plate of Balenciaga with Parmesan? You know what I'm saying? That's what that shit sounds like. So this is some shit from the UK here. You know what I'm saying? Kanye West to face £221 million lawsuit over George Floyd death. Remarks on podcast. All right. So now we getting into the meat of the shit. All right. We can get some Balenciaga with lettuce, you know what I'm saying, and tomatoes. All right. Kanye West will face a $250 million lawsuit brought by the family of George Floyd following recent remarks the rapper made about his death. Now, shout out to everybody that I've seen on YouTube. For the most part, it seems like everybody on YouTube is in agreement that they feel that George Floyd's family is going about this the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Janesta. You know what I'm saying? We got the $10 super chat popping off. She says, hello, brother Rob and family. I'm at work. Hope all is well. You try to get that work day done. And remember, work smart, not hard, because it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys show her some love. Drop some radiation emojis. Them black lights staying on. You know what I'm saying? So, who are the lawyers representing the family? You guys know? Who are the lawyers representing the Floyd family? Is anybody aware of who those lawyers are? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed that like button, please make sure that you help your boy out. Smash that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead, make sure you hit that bell icon. Lawyers representing the family issued a cease and desist letter to West and said his comments were a repugnant attempt to discount George Floyd's life and to profit from his inhumane death. Now, here's my question. How many cease and desist letters went out during the Derek Chauvin trial and immediately after George Floyd was killed? How many cease and desist letters were mailed out? How many? Did you guys hear about it? Was there any cease and desist letters mailed out during when all of this stuff was going on? If there were, I sure as hell didn't hear about them. But you guys might have, but I didn't. I didn't hear about them at all. I'm pretty sure we would have heard about them. None of the right-wing news media like Fox, you know what I'm saying, Newsmax, Blaze, I don't think any of them, I mean, they were running smear stories on George Floyd that entire time. They were running smear stories on his family too. Officer Tatum, you know what I'm saying, the YouTubers. You know what I mean? During the time when this whole thing was hot, how many cease and desist letters went out? Give me some numbers in the comment section. And who did they go to? It comes after the rapper made an appearance on the U.S. podcast Drink Champs, where he claimed Mr. Floyd was killed by a fentanyl overdose. Now, here's my question. Did Kanye West claim that Mr. Floyd was killed by a fentanyl overdose, or did he say, look at Candace Owens' documentary where she showed XYZ? Which one did he say? Shout out to Maine. What up with it, bro? Kanye quoted Candace Owens' documentary as a source. So now another question that we need to be asking is, how is Candace Owens dodging a lawsuit? Because he cited where he got the information from. So that means that there's some force, some agenda out there that is specifically incentivizing going after his family. Yeah, I think that Tulsi Gabbard video, I think it comes on at 4 o'clock or something. You guys can watch that if you want to, or you can watch it later. You guys seen it already. It's just a clip from a live stream anyway. Dixon and Dixon attorneys. Dixon and Dixon attorneys. So we know this already. Mr. Floyd, a black man, died in 2020 after police officer Derek Chauvin knelt on his neck for 9 minutes in Minneapolis, Minnesota, footage of which was shared around the world online. All right. Now, here's my question. They keep comparing this to Alex Jones, right? And for shits and giggles, we'll compare it to Alex Jones as well. Alex Jones said that certain events that caused people's death were fake. Alex Jones is now paying those families billions of dollars. At least he's court ordered to. Alex Jones produced his own information. Kanye did not. Kanye cited where the information came from. Also, Witherspoon Law Group. I guess that gives away who Nuru Witherspoon is, doesn't it? Huh. Why do you think that Witherspoon Law Group got this assignment? Of course, we're asking this as speculation. Does Witherspoon Law Group have any ties to anything at all? Have they ever done business with anybody that we might be aware of? Have they ever interacted with anybody? Good question. His cause of death was ruled as a homicide and it sparked global protests. Chauvin was convicted of murder and manslaughter and given a 22.5 year jail sentence. A statement shared with the PA news agency read, during the podcast interview, Kanye West stated malicious falsehoods about George Floyd to profit from Mr. Floyd's horrendous death and his family trauma. I disagree with that statement because I don't think Kanye West made any money off of that. If anything, the Drink Champs might have made money off of views, but not because Kanye West brought up George Floyd, because, you know, George Floyd made Black Lives Matter millions of dollars, yet that family's not going after Black Lives Matter. Any content creator, regardless if you were pro George Floyd or anti George Floyd, regardless if you said good things about him or not, none of us have made as much money off of George Floyd as Black Lives Matter has. And if you ask me, Black Lives Matter used George Floyd in a malicious way, and the family's not outraged. So there's that. Also, the Floyd family has been very silent about all of the scamming that Black Lives Matter has come out with. As a matter of fact, all of the Democrats have. Somebody should, when Stacey Abrams decides to waddle past, instead of asking her about reparations, because we all know she'd get her Nordic track on, somebody should ask her about the scamming going on with Black Lives Matter and what she thinks about it. And maybe if she thinks that Black Lives Matter should give some of that scam money to the police, since Stacey Abrams believes that the police deserve a pay raise. You know what I'm saying? Just because she has a blood pressure raise don't mean that the police deserve a pay raise. You know what I'm saying? So now here says lawyer Pat D. Dixon added Kanye's comments are a repugnant attempt to discount George Floyd's life and to profit from his inhumane death. I don't think that Kanye was making any money off of that. I don't think that there was much money made. I agree 100%. DJ Elmo says, well, I guess the foundational Black American family should also sue McGraw Books for publishing Slavery Was an Involuntary Relocation. Yeah, I agree. I believe that McGraw-Hill should be sued for that. I believe that Governor Abbott should be personally sued for that, as well as Ron DeSantis and any other conservative attacking Black history. And I also believe that the state of Texas should be sued for that, and that city. Yeah, you know she got high blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? She using 2 packets of flavoring in the ramen noodles. You know what I'm saying? That'll make your legs swell. You know what I'm saying? We will hold Mr. West accountable for his flagrant remarks against Mr. Floyd's legacy. Now, what I find fascinating is that he's not going on a public apology tour about George Floyd's legacy. Yeah, that's it. Actually, I'm not even going there. I was actually going to say something. I'm going to withdraw. Madam Big Mac, that's hilarious. Stacey Abrams, she needs to. I would say she needs to stop it, but actually, she needs to start it. Like, so the mother of Mr. Floyd's daughter, Roxy Washington, plans to file the multi-million-dollar lawsuit on grounds of harassment, misappropriation, defamation, and infliction of emotional distress. The interests of the child are a priority, said attorney Nuru Witherspoon, partner at the Witherspoon Law Group, in a statement. Now, what does Witherspoon Law Group do? You see, that's the question. What is it that Witherspoon Law Group does? I got to find it real quick. But what does that law firm do? That's the question. Yeah, McGraw is extremely disrespectful. But that's another story for another day. You got to go into the history of McGraw-Hill. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole shadowy history there as well. You know, I don't know if you guys were aware, but Ghislaine Maxwell was a billionaire heiress from her father. And one of the things that her father built his business on was writing school books. They own a company called Elsevier, which is a company that's similar to McGraw-Hill. Now, remember, we have that crypto issue. So when it comes to non-Black people, these people can be anybody.
More controversial statements from the rapper formerly known as Kanye West could potentially find him embroiled in a legal battle with the family of George Floyd.
During a recent podcast interview, Ye, as he now goes by, questioned the cause of Floyd's death, suggesting it wasn't caused by Derek Chauvin, former Minneapolis police.
So now pay very close attention to how NBC literally acts like no one was doing that. Pay very close attention to how NBC side with the Ben Shapiros, NBC sides with the Matt Walshes, NBC sides with the Glenn Becks. They literally just sit there and act like none of these white people ever said anything about George Floyd. Only Kanye did it, and we're so outraged about Kanye doing it that, yes, rah, 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 that family should sue Kanye. Okay, if you're going to sue Kanye, Kanye should be at the end of the line. Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Sidney Watson, the Quarterling, Tim Pool, all those guys, start with them. But this is incentive-based. This is an incentive-based attack. This was a directive that came down from somewhere to do this. This isn't somebody's original thought. Because if this was somebody's original thought, then what they would have done was they would have started suing people way back then when these people first started disparaging the family's name, but they choose not to. Do you think that they're only suing Kanye because he's an easy lick? Or do you think that they're only suing Kanye because they were given incentive to sue Kanye? Well, we'll give you all of our Kanye has really said some messed up stuff about us, and we're really going to make him pay. So what we'll do is we'll work out where you have all the legal resources that you need to go after him. And I'm pretty sure we can put the pressure on him to sue out of court for about $2 million. And, you know, most people are simple. I don't think there's any rocket scientists in the Floyd family. So they probably said, no, okay. We'll take it. It's money.
Officer who was convicted of murder after he knelt on Floyd's neck for 9.5 minutes.
NBC News legal analyst Andy Savalas joins us now to break it all down. And
I agree. I agree. If you guys agree with Keith, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with Keith, give me a thumbs down. Either way, this doesn't look good for the black community. Kanye West and George Floyd's family both look foolish. I agree. I agree with that 100%. Yeah, and I'd say both too. I'd say both too. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed that like button, please make sure you guys take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, you already know what to do. Go ahead and make sure you hit that bell icon.
Danny, I'm curious, what specifically did Ye say here? And could he be using some sort of free speech defense?
Possibly suggesting that George Floyd died of a fentanyl overdose. Does he have a defense? Well, that depends on if a lawsuit's ever brought. And although you may hear attorneys today saying, we're considering a lawsuit, the magic words you didn't hear were, we are filing a lawsuit. And that's because this would be a very difficult case. First, defamation, you can throw that out right away. You cannot defame a deceased person. So is it intentional infliction of emotional distress? Well, first, it has to be extreme and outrageous. And as we just saw, as an autopsy report concluded that there was fentanyl in George Floyd's system. So if the family wanted to litigate this, they would relitigate their loved one's death and then be litigating whether or not fentanyl contributed to the death. If fentanyl contributed to the death, then the defense will argue, Kanye, that this cannot be extreme and outrageous behavior because there was fentanyl in the system and it contributed to his death.
Let's look closer at that because it was civil rights attorney Lee Merritt who's represented the Floyd family. He condemned the remarks and
There you go. Civil rights attorney Lee Merritt. So Lee Merritt is one of the ones that is putting the batteries in the back of all of this.
tweeted, "While one cannot defame the dead, the family of George Floyd is considering suit for Kanye's false statements about the manner of his death, claiming Floyd died from fentanyl, not the brutality established, criminally and civilly undermines and diminishes the Floyd's family's fight." So what is the legal action that they could possibly pursue?
Shout out to Yoshimori. They trying to hit Kanye with the fentanyl. That's because he too lit. That's because he too lit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a fact. Why isn't anybody speaking out about Jalen Walker, who was also deleted by police violence? But I guess you can't make money and draw attention with that case. Facts. It's undeniable. That's really actually open and shut as far as Jalen Walker goes. There's nothing to debate there. You know what I'm saying? Like they shot him so many times. I don't know if you saw my videos that I did about it, Keith. They were on my other channel on Black Light Revelations 1, but I did a live stream of the coroner's report. There's literally there's nothing that can be said about that other than it was disgusting. Yeah, Sleaze merit, as PBT would say. Facts. PBT be out here renaming people.
Here, if it's not defamation.
By the way, I saw Lee's comments. We can put them right back up if they're still there. I agree with every word that he said. There you go. It undermines and diminishes the Floyd family's right. I agree with that. Was it rude to say? Yes. Was it insensitive? Yes. Is it legally actionable? I think his statement falls short of saying that we're only considering legal action. But the reality is this would be a very difficult case to prove using the extreme and outrageous standard. What you see normally.
So now this is what you need to pay very close attention to. Shout out to my man Tarek. You guys hear this attorney right here, this legal analyst on NBC saying that this would be extremely difficult to prove, right? So now if a legal analyst is saying that this is extremely difficult to prove, you would assume that it probably would not be the best idea to go forward with a lawsuit, and that the family probably is not going to get an offer for a settlement. Would you guys agree with that? If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Normally with intentional infliction of emotional distress, and I've alleged it myself, it's at the end of a long list of other claims. Why? It's kind of a catch-all. It's never your strongest case because it's very difficult to prove. So you put it in at the end. Maybe it's a bargaining chip, maybe not, but it's not your lead cause of action if you have a good case. So
now if we see a settlement, or, you know, if we see a settlement, or if we see Kanye lose, if this does go to trial, remember, we saw a legal analyst, and the legal analyst said that this would be extremely difficult to prove. And like I said, I found it fascinating that they were even going to take this route, because remember, I kept saying not only is Kanye quoting actual, you know, the Candace Owens documentary, he's citing the coroner's report as well. Do you guys remember I kept saying that? He's citing the coroner's report as well. So now they're bypassing the coroner's report, and they're also bypassing Candace Owens' documentary to sue Kanye. How is that logical, unless it's just you're just making it blatantly obvious that you're going after a money grab?
This is a very difficult case to make out. I don't anticipate there will be a lawsuit, but no harm in saying on the record, like Lee did, that this was inappropriate and we're considering legal action.
And Danny, real quick, we know that Merritt also said that they're considering potentially similar pursuit against Candace Owens, who made a documentary about George Floyd.
So pay very close attention, because they're only going after the black people. They're going after they're considering going after Candace Owens as well. If you guys agree with Val, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with Val, give me a thumbs down. I agree. 110%. That's absolutely what's being done. And the thing is, again, you know, to me, it's important to understand the mechanics of how these things work. Because whether people know it or not, these are the kind of pressures that we all have on us at all times. You offend the wrong person in school, if you're in high school, that person's parents might fire your parents. You know what I'm saying? You happen to be messing around with somebody's sister. Their family finds out. She got a couple uncles that are cops. You end up missing. Plenty of stories out there like that. Literally every single day, each and every one of us is facing an issue like that. Now, we might not have done something dumb like what Kanye goes and does literally every time he opens up his mouth. We deal with this simply because other people are high-level trolling us, and they have the means to be able to exercise this kind of nonsense, and they do it to entertain themselves because they're evil and wicked. So to me, it's important to pay attention to how these mechanisms work, to understand exactly why it's so important to have ownership, power, and control. Because when you don't have ownership, power, and control, what you're being taught here is that Kanye West is finding out the hard way that money is nothing but paper. And paper ain't bulletproof. It's kind of the thing that a lot of domestic violence victims find out about a protection order. The only thing a protection order will protect you from is dropping ketchup on your shirt if you tuck it into your collar. Know what I'm saying?
This same approach kind of apply to her legally?
You might have a stronger case in the case of a documentary simply because there are so many statements contained in that documentary. But again, defamation, you almost completely rule that out because if it's a deceased person, they can't be defamed. If it's the family, maybe they were defamed, but you'd have to look very closely at the documentary. That would be hard to prove. But if there is a false statement in there that somehow causes extreme harm, you'd have to prove it was extreme and outrageous. It's a very difficult standard, but possibly with a documentary, because it's an hour plus long, however long it is, you have a lot of statements in there that could potentially meet that standard. It's just a difficult standard to meet.
Extreme and outrageous.
Extreme and outrageous.
All right. Danny Savalas breaking it all down. Danny, thanks so much.
Extreme and outrageous. Now, these are subjective terms in a legal system where things are supposed to be objective. Hey, that's true. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker. What's up with it, by the way? So let's take a look at this, because I actually think that the Floyd family is going to go through with the lawsuit. So I'm curious to see how this goes, because what I can see happening is somehow Kanye not being able to get a lawyer. Because what I can see happening is I can see the network that he's dealing with do something to where people won't be able to renew their bar license, or they won't be able to be a part of some legal organization, or their business will be blacklisted or something like that if they help him. And so because of them doing that, he won't be able to get a lawyer. And as a result of him not getting a lawyer, he's going to have to not go to court. So then he may just settle out of court. I guarantee you that's going to be the biggest issue. Because, and I guarantee you that that's what Lee Merritt is planning on. Lee Merritt knows that in the situation that Kanye West is in right now, people probably are going to avoid him like the plague, unless it's somebody that's business isn't doing really well, which is why I said Kanye West better call Saul. You could be Saul's new Walter White. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see.
Story with Texas ties. George Floyd's family is planning to take legal action against Kanye West, a multi-million-dollar law.
Didn't George Floyd do meth with this woman right here? Like, weren't they the ones doing the meth and the fentanyl? Is his family doing anything as far as like suing her for introducing him to those drugs, or you know what I'm saying, like any of that? Like, I'm just curious because she kind of just like rode off into the sunset. You know what I'm saying?
A national story with Texas ties. George Floyd's family is planning to take legal action against Kanye West. A multi-million-dollar lawsuit could be filed soon in response to the rapper's false claims that Floyd died from fentanyl use and not police brutality. Tonight, a KENS 5 exclusive. Reporter Hannah Tita spoke with lawyers representing Floyd's family. Hannah, what are they saying tonight?
ECs, I met with attorneys at Witherspoon Law Group, which represents clients right across Texas. They gave us new details about this lawsuit against Kanye West, who will soon be sued for defamation, misappropriation, harassment, and inflicting emotional distress on Floyd's 7-year-old daughter.
Floyd was murdered. You know, bottom line, he was murdered.
An 8-minute video of a former Minneapolis police officer kneeling on George Floyd's neck until his last breath sparked worldwide protests.
No justice! No peace!
Laws were changed, police protocol re-examined. But days after what would have been Floyd's 49th...
What laws were changed? They said that laws were changed. They didn't even get the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. What laws were changed? Floyd used to rap with DJ Screw back in the day? Did he?
Birthday, his family is dealing with another kind of grief.
Mr. West's vile and incendiary statements have been quite harmful to the Floyd family, particularly his daughter.
In this Drink Champs podcast released over the weekend, Kanye West insinuated Floyd died from fentanyl. He said Derek Chauvin's knee was not on Floyd's neck. Those claims were false. The Hennepin County medical examiner ruled Floyd's death a homicide due to a lack of oxygen. Chauvin was convicted of murder.
Mr. West has to learn that his words have consequences.
And the consequence is coming in the form of a $250 million lawsuit.
So where's the consequences for any of the white people that said all of this stuff? Kanye West got all of his talking points from right-wing think tanks and white supremacists, coon YouTube commentators. So where's the consequences for their words? What I'm curious about is why that woman is so outraged about Kanye's words, but she's not outraged about anybody else. Does she need a list of people who disparaged the Floyd family and people that disparaged George Floyd? Pay very close attention to all the black people who are always willing to take a paycheck from a white person to destroy another black person on their behalf. Democrats, Republicans, these light-skinned boule motherfucking lawyers. Look at this. This Claire Huxtable looking motherfucker right here. You know what I'm saying? None of these people are our friends. They're not doing anybody justice. The only thing that they're doing is trying to stuff their pockets. She's trying to go on a girls' trip to Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? She want to be a passport sis. These are the very people that are causing problems. And then you got people like Roland Martin. Tiffany Cross. You know what I'm saying? Joy Reid. These people need to have their entire narratives destroyed. They do not deserve any power. They deserve to have consequences for their derangement and derailment of internal politics and attempting to lead people astray for a buck. Yeah, she's a passport sis. You know what I'm saying? She'll get her ass on a cruise line up there with Eric Adams and shit. Be sitting next to an orange picker.
Laws were changed, police protocol re-examined. But days after what would have been Floyd's 49th birthday, his family is dealing with another kind of grief.
Mr. West's vile and incendiary statements have been quite harmful to the Floyd family, particularly his daughter.
In this Drink Champs podcast released over the weekend, Kanye West insinuated Floyd died from fentanyl. He said Derek Chauvin's knee was not on Floyd's neck. Those claims were false. The Hennepin County medical examiner ruled Floyd's death a homicide due to a lack of oxygen. Chauvin was convicted of murder.
Mr. West has to learn that his words have consequences.
So only Mr. West has to learn that his words have consequences. And what we need to learn from you, ma'am, is that white people's words have no consequences. Got it? Loud and clear. You guys got that? Everybody got that loud and clear? These alleged civil rights heroes, these professional Negroes with business blazers on and, you know, nice little high heels and a business suit. We need to realize that our words have consequences. And they'll definitely take a paycheck to show it to us. That's what she's saying. Shout out to my man Keep It 100. If y'all ain't subscribed to my man Keep It 100's channel, man, make sure y'all go show that brother some love. You know what I'm saying? Support his channel and shit. Make sure you drop your link in there, bro, so people can go check you out. I gotta agree with Keith. This is a bad look. Facts. White people are taken seriously no matter how derogatory and insulting their words are. And they're also not begged to apologize. And again, nobody even really cares to ask them for an apology. Nobody's outraged about these comments that were made about George Floyd's family other than Lee Merritt. And Lee Merritt is probably not outraged his damn self. He's only doing this because that was an assignment given to him. Man, he's being directed to do that. We're putting the clamps on Kanye. Lee, we need you to make it look like a civil rights move, you know, so we don't get in trouble for racism. You're not going to get in trouble for racism anyway, because these people have the system so sewn up with technology and media, nobody's even allowed to adequately critique them, despite the fact that they call us the sensitive people, and these putrid cowards are so cowardice that they have to make laws restricting what's being said. They can't sit there in the face of critique and handle it. They have to make laws to protect their weak asses. So my man, Keep It 100, just put his channel link in there. He about to do a live stream on Saturday. That's going to be dope, talking about politics. So make sure y'all check it out.
And the consequence is coming in the form of a $250 million lawsuit set to be filed in the next month. Witherspoon Law Group also sent this cease and desist letter to West's attorneys demanding any mention of Floyd be removed from his social media.
To have these lies on these platforms that are out there forever, you know, it damages his estate. Now, we understand that they're there to benefit Mr. West and his entities. However, they need to come down because they are damaging to the Floyd estate and, more importantly, his daughter.
And Witherspoon Law Group.
Now, my question is, in what way have they damaged the Floyd family? What way have they damaged it? You see, all this is a narrative on repeat because the same people own the media. I can't wait, bro. I'm definitely gonna be there to check it out. They all own the media. This is weaponization of power. This is what I keep telling y'all about power. People ask why people are forced to apologize. It's because of being overpowered. What you're witnessing right here is fighting a nuclear war with a stick. That's what you're seeing. So now we're going to look at Lee Merritt's comments real quick. And then what we're going to do is we're going to run Witherspoon. We're going to run that company. Because I don't know if you guys are aware, but the Floyd family first gave the cease and desist letter to CNN. Now, do you think that that was an accident? Why would they give CNN the cease and desist letter first?
So what say you about what Kanye said and what the family of George Floyd might do?
Well, just personally, I was really extremely disappointed. And it's, I guess, a bit strange to be continually disappointed by Kanye West. But I didn't hear about his statements until Sunday morning when the brother of George Floyd, Clonis, gave me a call and said he was irate. He was extremely.
Now, what people should be irate about is that George Floyd is being used as a proxy to exert power for alleged anti-Semitism. This ain't about disrespecting George Floyd. George Floyd is being used as a proxy to punish Kanye for anti-Semitism. They do not give a fuck about us. This is shameful as fuck. Lee Merritt is a bitch for this. And for him to try to sit there, you're somebody that graduated from law school, you have a Juris Doctorate degree, and you act like you don't have a half a hemisphere of a brain in your head to understand how you're getting played, or maybe you just willingly play yourself for the money, whichever one it is. Regardless, if you're that stupid, it's shameful, or if you're that traitorous, it's shameful. Do you guys agree that there's really, you know how you know that this is not correct? There was no outrage about any of the other anti-black stuff that Kanye West said. So now, why would there be outrage about the Floyd comments? Kanye West said slavery was a choice. Regardless of how you said that, if you called any other people's historic trauma a choice, everybody would have a conniption. You mean to tell me that comments about one black person is worse than comments about the whole black race? Are you serious? And Lee Merritt claims to be a civil rights attorney. But then again, don't forget, Henry Moskowitz, thanks to him, hijacked the civil rights attorney, the civil rights movement. So as long as you understand that all civil rights movements are employees of them, now you know why what's happening is happening. Now you know why it's happening. I see y'all having some trouble down there with my man Keeping 100's channel real quick. So hold on, I'm about to put this link in here real quick. All right, here you go, right here. So make sure y'all show him some love. Go over there and subscribe to his channel.
Really hurt by the statements that Kanye West made. I had to go look up the interview and see that he was now blaming a drug overdose.
The weaponization of George Floyd against another black person is shameful. And if that right there, if what we're witnessing right here, if what I've shown you guys in this video is not enough of a reason to walk away from the Democratic Party and never deal with them ever again, I don't know what else is. This is low down dirty. Shout out to my man Alonzo. What up with it, bro?
A theory that was well debunked in court, as you all pointed out, something that is clearly not the reason that George Floyd died. He died as a result of Derek Chauvin's knee and the other officers compressing his body in a prone position, And now he's promulgating.
Now pay very close attention to how TMZ, you see, again, the liberal media working together. You see? Is using their media and one of their attorneys, because remember, they own the civil rights movement. Henry Moskowitz is the guy's name. He's one of the co-founders of the NAACP, and he's not a person of color. He's a translucenite. Motherfucker, you're not a person of color. What are you doing founding NAACPs?
Getting those statements anew in a way that it almost seemed designed to cause the family distress. And so they reached out to me, specifically his brother, and asked that we begin to investigate whether or not we can restrain him from making such statements and hold him accountable for the misinformation that he's putting out there.
How serious are they about doing something against Kanye West?
I know that Philonise Floyd, for example, was bothered that I said we were considering lawsuit. He is absolutely committed to bringing lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean, Lee Merritt is talking very tough about suing Kanye West while not mentioning the Daily Wire at all. At all. Lee Merritt is pump faking. You know what I'm saying? Lee Merritt is pump faking. This is a sick, twisted illusion of symbolism. And this right here shows you the depths that the Democratic Party and all of its cronies, associates, and tentacles will do to sell you out for a buck. And that's why nobody's watching them. Oh, we'll get there, AB. We will definitely get there. It's coming.
I've heard from other members of the family who are represented by various parties saying that they are absolutely 100% moving forward with litigation against Kanye West and anyone else who would defame George Floyd and his reputation.
Part of what makes this so upsetting for the family is that after George was murdered, Kanye West was one of many people, celebrities, who reached out. And I believe he even made a donation to pay for George's daughter's college tuition. So I know there was some appreciation that was expressed by the family back then, and then now to hear him saying things like this.
You know, that actually did come up in the conversation I had with Philonise. A part of that conversation was Wanda Cooper Jones, Ahmaud Arbery's mother. And those families, the Floyd family and the Arbery family, are friends. And when this kind of injury takes place, when someone undermines their movement, they support each other. The two of them called me together and they said that they saw Kanye West as a friend. And that's why this was personal for them, that it wasn't just some random person who hasn't had an interaction with family, who didn't know themselves as supportive made this thing, but this was someone who has offered them their support in the past, which almost...
That doesn't even make any sense. That's a good question, Tori. I'd actually have to think about that question. I would hope that we would weaponize ourselves, but I don't know if that's actually what would happen. That's a great question. Torian says, I asked a question to my audience last week, and I'll ask you this week. If we had the same positioning as quote unquote them folks, do you think we would weaponize ourselves the way they do, or have the same mindset as we have now, but with more power? That's a good question. That's actually a complicated question. There's a lot of things to explore with that question. Currently, if things just happen to change instantaneously, like right now, I think that we would still operate the same way. Because the reason why I think that is because there's people who don't have the same power and position as them folks that don't operate like us. We have a unique case of operation. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that we would weaponize things to their full potential if it were to happen right now. And the thing is, Carlton, there's very few people who are like, I don't think that most people want revenge. I think that there's a small percentage of people that want revenge. Most people, I think, are too scared to even speak about revenge. Most people just want to be left alone, which a bully is never going to leave you alone. Let me ask you guys a question. If world domination is not the only option, then why is beating up a bully the only way to get the bully to leave you alone? What is the only way to get a bully to leave you alone? To kick his ass or to stand up to him to a point where a fight with you is inconvenient. Sometimes, even if you can beat somebody up, if you know that that person is going to fight back and you might end up with a chipped tooth, broken nose, broken finger, you might beat that person's ass. But if you know that person can fight and it's not just going to be an easy knockout, you're probably not going to start a fight, even if you know you can beat that person up. Most people only start fights with people whose asses they know that they can whip. If you know that the person is going to fight you back and you stand a chance of getting a snapped eye socket, a busted jaw, people would tend to kind of defer from that. And I got to agree with Tia. The world has shown that they can't play nicely. So that means that it's our obligation to just stop them from playing at all. That's the only that's the only solution. Otherwise, everything that we see now will just continue, and it'll continue to get progressively worse, as you've seen. Because what the evidence shows is that it just gets progressively worse. You see, it gets progressively worse, but they continue to lie and say that it's getting better. It's not getting better. Think about this. Kanye West is going through a different form of lynching. But see, there wasn't any black billionaires and shit like that back then. The shit that's going on with Kanye, this is the kind of shit that happened to common black people. See, nowadays, even though we had this class system where people can get all of this money, you still immediately get reverted back to somebody that's just a regular black person, which means that, again, you find out the hard way that your money is just paper. And if you find out the hard way that your money is just paper, then what's the point of it? It's an illusion. It's an illusion. Kanye West is now seeing that being a billionaire is an illusion of affluency. Exactly, Torian. Kanye forgets that even though he is a billionaire, he's still a nigga in this society. He is a wealthy slave. Facts. And he's getting shown right now that the world is correct.
Legitimizes his extreme views, and you know, they've asked that with that in mind that we pursue litigation against Kanye.
So let's talk about this lawyer character here. Let's talk about this fellow Nuru Witherspoon. We're going to run Nuru Witherspoon's law practice. Does he look familiar? This right here is the guy that was just on, not Lee Merritt, but before, right? This is his law firm, Witherspoon Law Group. Okay. Now, the Witherspoon Law Group is the #1 trusted law firm in America for serious injury and wrongful death cases. Nuru Witherspoon was raised in East St. Louis, Illinois, and College Park, Georgia. He graduated from Central High School, Phoenix, Arizona, and Paul Quinn College, Dallas, Texas, before obtaining a Juris Doctorate from the University of Mississippi School of Law. Witherspoon's accomplishments include some of the largest recoveries in America, and his cases have been featured on CNN, ABC, CNBC, and Fox News, the Wall Street Journal, and international media outlets. So this guy is no stranger to the media. Shout out to my man Black. What up with it, bro? What's up with it last name? This dude is no stranger to the media. He's been on damn near every single one. Now, the first one that they have listed is CNN. I find it fascinating that CNN is the news outlet that got the cease and desist order first. So now let's see what he's been up to. Witherspoon served as lead counsel, so this is the real lead attorney, on many high-profile cases, such as Coleman versus Ripley's Entertainment, MyVet versus Federal Express Corporation, Cook versus Claw Logistics, Jackson versus Brett Michaels, and many recoveries against Allstate, Geico, AIG, Liberty Mutual, USAA, State Farm, Farmers Nationwide, Progressive, and Zurich, to name a few. So what it seems like this guy does is this guy is a accident lawyer who sues insurance companies for recoveries and things like that. That seems like that's the primary thing that he does. So how would his law firm be linked up with them? If you're on the media a lot, you're safe. Facts. And he's definitely on the media a lot. His cases have been featured on CNN, ABC, CNBC, Fox News, the Wall Street Journal, and international media outlets. Nuru Witherspoon is married with 6 children. In 2019, the Witherspoon Law Group built a state-of-the-art community center in Dallas, Texas, to promote Black culture, heritage, and values through programs and services. Do they want to tell us what it's called so we can go look at it? Or do we have to go do some research and find that out and run that too? It always seems impossible until it's done. The worlds capture the spirit of Nuru Witherspoon and provide the cornerstone of the Witherspoon Law Group, the #1 trusted law firm for serious injury and wrongful death cases. Doesn't sound like his area of expertise, does it? Yeah, that's a good question. What is his stance on reparations? Being that, so this is what they do. What we do is we win. The Witherspoon Law Group handles a wide range of complex civil litigation involving plane crashes, motor vehicle, trucking accidents, construction accidents, premises liability, product liability, personal injury, and workplace accidents. I mean, here we go right here. So it does not seem like this is the area of expertise. Yeah, I agree. He needs to sue for the injuries that we got from slavery. Facts. So my question is, what law firms has Witherspoon Law Group worked with in the past? What groups have they worked with in the past? So now here, Kay Harper Williams is a partner at the Witherspoon Group, where she focuses on wrongful death and serious injury cases. So it's not even like his colleague is somebody who's doing the PR thing. Prior to joining the Witherspoon Law Group, Williams owned and operated her own firm. Again, and we need to check out her firm that she owned and see who they did business with. During its 10 years of exist. Now, you guys know who runs the legal system. You know who runs the laws. You know who all the judges are. Do you think somebody might have got a call about malpractice, or do you think somebody might have got a call about something that they didn't get right, and somebody might have got told that, you know, you might have some issues renewing your bar exam if you don't do this little favor? You owe your loyalty to the Bar Association. Carlton said she looked a little bit tethery, huh? During its 10 years of experience, she successfully obtained millions of dollars in compensation for her clients. Before founding her own firm, she worked at Gary, Williams, Finney, Lewis, Watson, and Sperando, the Willie Gray firm, working on multi-million-dollar cases involving wrongful deaths, catastrophic injuries, class action lawsuits. Williams is a graduate of Tulane University Law School, New Orleans, Louisiana, and Florida A&M University, where she earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration. She is licensed to practice law before all Florida state courts and the U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Florida. Williams is active in the Jacksonville community. She is chairwoman of the Jacksonville Urban League Economic and Community Development Foundation, and formerly served as a board member on the Downtown Investment Authority after being appointed to that position by Mayor Alvin Brown. So now, I think I've heard of Alvin Brown, if I'm not mistaken. She got appointed to a position by Alvin Brown. Williams is also involved with Families of Slain Children, a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting families who have lost loved ones to a violent crime. So now this is where she has some experience dealing with that, but it would seem like she would be the partner on this case, not Nuru. Williams was born and raised in Gainesville, Florida, and is married and has 2 children. So that's Witherspoon Law Group. Looks like a Black-owned law company, as you can see. Very boule. You know what I'm saying? Looks like part of Stacey Abrams' Mild and Yak meeting. You know what I'm saying? Business suits and ties, just like I said. top personal injury attorneys, look who they've been mentioned by: the Chicago Tribune, the Los Angeles Times, MSNBC, and none other than CNN, NBC, ABC. Notice a familiar theme here? All you got to do in most cases is follow the money. That's all you got to do is follow the money. And the money will take you to exactly where the destination is. And I think we know, which I think we knew before, but we know exactly what's going on here. So now you have to ask yourself, is there another nationality specifically associated with the Democrats? You see, it's a safe thing to just assume that black people are Democrats. Is it a safe thing to assume that other people are Democrats? I don't know, but you guys can let me know what you think in the comment section, because I don't know who's taking care of Kanye West's legal woes, but he better call Saul. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and I will catch you all on the next video. All right?